Hello, this is my fourth try, and I'm sick and tired of trying to write down the show name, so I just put blah, 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 blah. So, again, can you hear me? Is anybody there? Is there anybody out there? Anybody at all? Anybody at all? Anybody out there? Can you hear me? Well, we'll just see if anybody comes to the chat room and see if they hear me. And I had to reboot the host system, but it looks like I'm recording. I'm broadcasting. I hope somebody comes along and tells me they can hear me. Let me sign into Skype and see if that helps. It looks like, but it says LastPass was unable to contact the login server. So I don't know. My computer is just really crazy nowadays. I think I have some sort of a virus on it. I don't know. I need to just do some work on it. But I was out running around most of the day today with my daughter, and didn't have a lot of time to do, stuff at the computer. So, but that's a good thing. It's a good thing to go out running around with your daughter. So I'm here, and I hope that Steve joins me here shortly as soon as my Skype opens. Let's see if he can hear me. Oh, I hate starting shows like this. It's so bush league, you know what I mean? It's like so second rate, and I normally don't do them like this. Typing to somebody, but I need some feedback if anybody can hear me. Hi. I hope somebody can hear me. Let me give you the link to the show that I'm doing. Maybe that'll help. Here's the link. Hang on. Ooh, there's somebody in the chat room. Good. Oh, now he can. Sometimes I think Steve's crazy. He's like, crazy, man. I hope this works. Let me check my settings, Steve. Hello? What a mess, huh? What a mess. I can hear you. Can they hear you? You're not very loud. A little. We're fine, I guess. My phone is in the car. The baby had it watching a video, and I never got it out of the car. So, meaning I would check on the Spreaker app. Have you ever downloaded the Spreaker app? Do you have I love that app. It's great. I can broadcast off of it, too. It's really cool. Let me turn all these effects off. There we go. Turn all these effects off, everybody. Hold on. You sound great. So we're coming out live? Hello, mic check. Syllabus. Yes? No? We got a delay. I can barely hear you. I'll turn you up. Try now. Helped a little bit, but you're just you act like you're kind of whispering sort of, or trying to be real quiet. Sure, no problem. Not a problem. Okay. Well, we'll wait and see if Steve-O gets back on with us. Well, he's still there. There he goes. Now he's gone. Yeah, I went out running errands today, went by the vape shop, and went by a couple of other places we had to go, and had a good day, a fairly good day out today running around with Heather. I like running around with Heather. That little baby is so fun to play with when he's out running around with us. And I didn't have to cook dinner tonight because we picked up dinner on the way home, which was delicious. Any better? Are you on something different than you usually are? No, same set of issues. Back in lower lodge, you can hear it. Really? I've got it cranked up all the way. So the callers say they can't hear the caller. Hold on just a second. Let me fix one thing. Oh, no, I'm fine. All mine's fine. Let me do this and hit record. Now talk. No, I can. Okay, here comes the playback. Okay, quiet on the set. Don't anybody talk. No, I can. Okay, here comes the playback. Okay, quiet. Oh, I know something. Let me,
Something ain't
This
right.
is so ridiculous. This stuff gets so screwed up just over. Oh, I think I know what it might be. Let me try. I'll try all my settings here. Hold on. First with Skype. Preferences. Audio. Nope, those are all fine. And let me check the audio settings on the computer. Sound. Nope, those are all fine too. Let me try this.
Debbie, let me recommend you calling me. I'll hang up and then you call me. 'Cause
I
right now I'm
think
getting feedback.
it's you.
No?
It's not me, Steve. I can promise you that. All my levels are super.
All right.
Because I can't hear you hardly.
I have nothing on. It's different.
I don't know what to. Can you reboot your system, maybe?
I could try, but I mean it's cranky. I'm blowing my ears out here. So let me do a reboot. It could be that storm last night that blew everything out of whack.
Hang on one second. Let me show you what I got. Okay, go ahead and talk again.
Test 1, 2, 3. Debbie Daly Network. Steve Rush trying to get through. 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check.
Okay. Playback. Quiet. Okay, go ahead and talk again.
Test 1, 2, 3. Debbie Daly Network. Steve Rush trying to get through. 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check.
Okay. I got you fine now. It's
That sounded perfect.
Can they not hear you in the chat room?
I don't know yet. Let me go back to that.
If y'all would
I
give
can
us a
hear
mic
Steve
check.
better. It says I can hear Steve better, Jonathan, my buddy said.
Yeah, if y'all could give us a mic check. I'll continue to work on it over here from this end, but nothing's really changed. I'm looking at the board and I don't see nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't really turn it up any louder than that. That's about as loud as it'll go without over modding, so. Can you hear me? I can hear you guys, Josh says, so. And Jonathan said I sound better. I don't know. Remember we had this kind of issue yesterday where we had to reboot your system 3 times, and tonight it's been 3 or 4 times, so.
Yeah, but it's not mine. Because see, what I hear, I can play back because I'm recording us right now. And as you can tell, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, Steve John Slayer 454 says Steve sounds almost normal, but we know he's not normal. So.
Okay,
so,
last playback. Playback, Matilda. Playback, because I'm recording us right now. And as you can tell, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, John Slayer 454 says Steve sounds almost normal, but we know he's not normal. So.
Okay,
so,
last playback. So.
Okay, we're good then. We're good. I wonder what that was. What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
I have to blame you, Deb. Come on, please.
Don't be one of that. Don't be a goofy bone where you don't take the blame of something. Just say.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Come on.
Blame Canada. Blame.
Oh, I love that song.
Let's blame Canada. It's all Canada's fault.
I hate Canada because they beat the American freaking hockey. I'm so mad.
You know why we don't fall into the Gulf of Mexico?
Why?
Canada sucks.
Canada? Is that the actual reason?
Mm-hmm.
You probably saw that on Nova or something, educational like that.
No, I actually came up with that myself.
That's pretty freaking brilliant.
Did you hear the latest news?
I would love to. I haven't.
They are going to start drug testing welfare recipients.
I did hear that, and that's a great piece of news.
I think it's fantastic.
If they could afford drugs, they could afford to buy their own food. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's not the way I look at it. I don't look at it as if they can afford to buy drugs, they can afford to buy food. I look at it more like, do they deserve? I don't know how to put it. See, I don't know. I understand there's certain people that do drugs, and I more or less look at it like self-medicating because they say that people that do speed, like methamphetamine, are more than likely adult ADD because your body will crave what your body needs. But I think it's the people that do the cocaine and the party hardy drugs and stuff like that, I don't really care for that kind of crap. I mean, I'm not saying that meth is good, but I'm saying
meth is not good.
I'm just saying that sometimes I believe people self-medicate. I've known some pretty good people in my life that have been messed up on meth.
Well, my thought is this: if you're getting high, okay, and you could afford to get high, all that time that you are getting high, you should have a job and pay for it yourself. You know what I mean? That how could the government? Why should the government pay? Why should a taxpayer like me pay for somebody to get high and sit home all day? It's ridiculous. So they should be drug tested for sure.
Well, people are really, they have a lot of opinions on that.
I would love to know the opposing opinion on that. Like what hardworking person would want to pay for somebody else to sit home and get stoned while you're at work paying for that? You know what I mean? I haven't heard the other side, other than it being an infringement on their privacy. You know what I mean? What are you kidding me? It's not your privacy anymore. If I'm paying for you, it becomes my business.
You really feel that way?
To a degree.
So if something happened in your life that you got to where you needed government assistance, all of a sudden the government owns you?
No,
and
I'm
they
not
have
saying
a right
that,
to tell you what to do. Well, that's basically what you said, sweetie.
They said public aid. Like public aid is like, I can't find a job. Well, you can't find a job card because you're high. And if you piss hot for a test, you're not going to get the job.
Well,
so sorry, go.
I just don't think that I don't know, I feel different about it. And I don't even do drugs. I just have a big problem with owning somebody. I don't like that. You know what I mean? I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's two sides to the coin, but my side is going to be the one that, wow, I just hate the idea that somebody's just having the time of their lives, partying up, and the taxpayers paying for it. Here
comes the Dan O'Day ghost. Hold your ears in 3, 2, and 1. DanO'Day.com. Thank you, girls. Well, today in history. Today in history. I love today in history. Boys, George Weedham, I did that wrong. The year is 1777, okay? George Weedon is promoted to Brigadier General. On this day in 1777, George Weedon promoted to the rank of Brigadier General of the Virginia Regiment of the Continental Army. Weedon was a simple innkeeper at Fredericksburg, Virginia at the outbreak of the Revolutionary War, but had previously served as a lieutenant under George Washington in Western Virginia during the French and Indian War. That was a bloody war. As the Revolution began, Weedon was commissioned lieutenant colonel of the 3rd Virginia Regiment under Hugh Mercer in 1775. On August the 13th of 1776, he was promoted to Mercer's command as colonel of the 3rd Virginia Regiment. In the fall and the winter of 1776, Weedon marched with his troops of the Virginia Regiment alongside General George Washington and the Continental Army in campaigns against the British over the plains of New York and New Jersey, including the famous Battle of Trenton, Brandywine, and Germantown. He commanded Pennsylvania and Virginia regiments in the Nathaniel Greene's division at Valley Forge. So today in history, how about that? In 1927, Irma Bombeck is born. Happy birthday, Irma Bombeck.
Happy birthday.
1927, and she's still kicking it today. You know, one of the first books I remember finding laying around our house was "Life. If Life is a Bowl of Cherries, What Am I Doing in the Pits?"
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a cool book.
My mother wrote that book.
I wrote that when I was 3.
Today in history, in 1948, this will blow your mind, NASCAR was founded today.
Oh, 1943? NASCAR?
1948. It says, on this day in 1948, the National Association for Stock Car Racing, or NASCAR as it became to be known, is officially incorporated. NASCAR racing will go on to become one of America's most popular spectator sports. Do you know what the history of NASCAR racing is?
I know. Is it about moonshining?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting little story.
Yes.
Boys used to get their cars modified, and they'd fill the back of them with moonshine and beat every squad car there was to get that stuff from one town to the next. And before you know it, that moved. Go ahead.
No, I was listening.
That's exactly where it all came from.
You know, the funny thing about it is the funniest. Have you ever seen Talladega Nights?
Yes, one of my favorite movies. I know it's stupid, but I love it.
One of the funniest scenes is when he says, "You better get going." When his daddy was trying to get him over the fear of going fast, and he said, "Because you've got 2 ounces of smack in there, and here comes the cops." Remember?
Yeah. The storyline in that movie is just so crazy, but it's believable for some freaked out reason. But
I hope you have a note for being tardy.
Was I tardy? Are you even doing a show?
Yes.
You're grounded, man.
Come in.
Huh.
How are you, Mr. Midnight Movie? What's going on, sir?
I'm all right. You know.
Oh, Sissy, I couldn't use those shampoos. Those were for brown hair. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have muted myself. Hold on.
So what else is new?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
What's
go ahead,
that?
Talk,
I had a missed call. I had a missed call from you and the Skype assholes on my Spreaker.
Not for me. Not for me, Mr. Movie Midnight Person.
Was it me?
Yeah, you were on the call for some reason. You were on.
Really?
You were on with the Skype. Yeah, I don't. You know, I call. I talk to him occasionally.
God, how old could that have been? I must have accidentally clicked something.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't know if it was just a misprint or I'm misreading it. I'm probably misreading it.
No. I accidentally clicked something yesterday because I was having all kinds of we lost power. I lost internet, everything. I clicked something, and it was a link to a big conversation, and you may have been on it, so I apologize for that.
I have one more this day in history.
Please.
In New York City, on this day in history, 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated.
Here's a look
Today?
at this day in history.
Yeah, listen to this one. I have audio.
February 21st.
I have audio. Can y'all hear it?
In 1804, inventor Richard Trevithick set the world's first locomotive running in Wales.
No, you're not going to read them all, you dodo head. Today in history, an African-American nationalist and religious leader is assassinated by rival black Muslims while addressing his Organization of Afro-American Unity at the Audubon Ballroom in Washington Heights. Born Malcolm Little in Omaha, Nebraska in 1925, Malcolm was the son of James Earl Little, a Baptist preacher who advocated the black nationalist ideas of Marcus Garvey. Threats from the Ku Klux Klan forced the family to move to Lansing, Michigan, where his father continued to preach until his controversial sermons, despite continuing threats in 1931, was brought to a halt when his father was brutally murdered by the white supremacist Black Legion, and the Michigan authorities refused to prosecute those that were responsible for it. In 1937, Malcolm was taken from his family by welfare caseworkers. By the time he reached high school, he had dropped out of school and moved to Boston, where he became increasingly involved in criminal activity. In 1946, at the ripe old age of 21, Malcolm was sent to prison on a burglary conviction, and it was there he encountered the teachers of Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam, whose members are popularly known as Black Muslims. The Nation of Islam advocated black nationalism and racial separatism and condemned Americans of European descent as immoral devils. Muhammad's teaching had a strong effect on Malcolm, who entered into an intense program of self-education and took on the name X to symbolize his stolen African identity. After serving 6 years, Malcolm was released from prison and became a loyal and effective minister of the Nation of Islam in Harlem, New York. In contrast with civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X advocated self-defense and the liberation of African Americans by all means necessary. a fiery orator, Malcolm was admired by the African American community in New York and around the country. In the early 1960s, I've only got a little bit left. In the early 1960s, he began to develop a more outspoken philosophy than that of Elijah Muhammad, whom he felt did not sufficiently support the civil rights movement. In late 1963, Malcolm's suggestion that John F. Kennedy's assassination was a matter of the chickens coming home to roost provided Elijah Muhammad, who believed that Malcolm had become too powerful, with a convenient opportunity to suspend him out of the Nation of Islam. A few months later, Malcolm formally left the organization and made a Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca, where he was profoundly affected by the lack of racial discord among Orthodox Muslims. He returned to America as Elijah Malik-e-Shabazz, and in June of 1964, he founded the Organization of Afro-American Unity, which advocated black identity and held that racism, not the white race, was the greatest foe of the African American. Malcolm's new movement was steadily gaining followers, and his more moderate philosophy became increasingly influential in the civil rights movement, especially among the leaders of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. On February 21, 1965, 1 week after his home was firebombed, Malcolm X was brutally shot to death by the Nation of Islam members while speaking at a rally of his organization in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
On this day in history.
Man,
It happened today. I have reverb. Got an echo.
Is that my reverb?
I don't know. Test 1, 2, 3. No, it's gone. Did you mute yourself, Mr. Min? I don't know. That was weird, huh?
No, I didn't. But if I mute myself, will that help the reverb, or was what's that?
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a very bad Skype couple days here for everybody, so I don't know. So
I have another interesting. On this day in history, National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger began secret peace talks with North Vietnamese. He started talking to Lee Duc Tho, the fifth-ranking member of the Hanau Politburo, in a villa outside of Paris. Lee Duc Tho stated that the North Vietnamese position continued to require an unconditional United States withdrawal on a date set and the abandonment of the Thai government as a precondition for further progress, which stalled the negotiations. The North Vietnamese rejected Kissinger's proposals for a mutual withdrawal of military forces, the neutralization of Cambodia, and a mixed electoral commission to supervise elections in South Vietnam. And there you go.
gotcha. I hear you.
A very, 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 very interesting day. Here's another one. Listen to this. On this day in history, in 1981, Dolly Parton crosses over from country to pop in her first hit, 9 to 5. She released 9 to 5 after the... this is just coming out off my brain. She released 9 to 5 after playing the role of secretary to a horrible, sleazy male boss played by Dabney Coleman, and the song went along with "Working 9 to 5, what a way to make," and it crossed over to pop. How about that? It reached number 1.
Wow. I bet she didn't have a lot of number 1 songs, did she?
Now, was that song originally supposed to be in the film, or did they just? Because I guess she was in the film. She recorded the song.
The project was the movie 9 to 5. What? In 1980, Dolly Parton brought the full range of her talents to bear on a project that would cement her crossover from country to mainstream superstardom. That project was the movie 9 to 5, for which Dolly wrote and performed the song that earned her both an Oscar and a Grammy nomination, as well as semi-official status as a pop icon. The biggest hit of Dolly Parton's career, the song 9 to 5, reached number 1 on the pop charts in this day on this day in 1981.
Very
You know,
cool.
and she knew nothing about making film. I mean, she had, like, I guess, limited acting experience, and she thought that all films, films were shot in order, and they're not.
Absolutely.
She is such a sweet person. Honest to God. I got to meet her at Dollywood, and like she took my family and talked to us, and she was just really, really a sweet person. I mean, she took us on the side and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she does this show. She goes down there, and she's there a lot at her at Dollywood, and a really kind person, really, really sweet, genuine as can be too. So
Now,
looking at
she
her
never
story.
I don't think did she ever make a film after? No, I think it was Still Magnolias.
She made. Let me see. I'm looking right now at her movies. She's, Miley Cyrus. This is her godmother.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of
Miley Cyrus has not made any good films, by the way.
No, she has not. Unless, they haven't been out released yet. They're only rated X.
Or maybe I just, like you, don't understand the full meaning of Hannah Montana film.
Were those films? Or was that those were shows, right?
Yeah. No, there was a Hannah Montana movie. I don't know where you've been.
Really? There was a movie?
There was a Hannah Montana
There
movie. I
was.
kid you not.
Debbie, did you see the Hannah Montana movie?
She's got a
No.
teenage daughter.
Heather could not
What?
stand Hannah Montana.
What?
She couldn't stand her.
You know who I hated even more than Hannah Montana, who was an even bigger crime
Who?
against my senses. Because one time it was raining and I had to stay home from work, and the worst show ever, and she turned out to be a lesbian, by the way, was That's So Raven.
Oh, my daughter loved that show.
Never
I
heard of
hate
it.
that show. Was awful.
It was awful. That's why kids loved it.
That's so Raven. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah,
Because I can look at that. I can look at Mr. Captain Kangaroo, our speed racer, and get a tinge of nostalgia. This was something with a little bit of class. But even HR puppet stuff.
Aw.
What about Barney? Don't fucking diss Barney, bro.
Well, Barney wasn't our child. Well, you might be. Barney was not our childhood. But even
See,
Barney.
the thing is, Mr. Midnight Movie, in fairness, when you become a parent, you get to do all this shit all over again. Like my kids.
Exactly. And when you become a grandparent, you get to do it again. Let me stop y'all right here while we talk off mic, and let's take a listen to this. Here, I'm so sorry, boys and girls. I don't know how long we've had down there. We started talking about other things, and I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. That's why I have to hear those songs. You know, if I don't hear them, I don't know when they stop.
I should have been checking. I wasn't. My bad. My bird.
Well, you mentioned something. We were talking on off air about when what's her face, I think, destroyed the song "I Will Always Love You."
Yeah. Well, Whitney Houston. If you guys don't know this, the song "I Will Always Love You," that you hear the version of.
Hi, Lester.
Hey, Lester.
Hello.
Thanks for whispering while I was talking, guys. Okay. Cool. I'm going to do it again. All right. So Whitney Houston covered that song. People don't know that was originally written and covered by Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton said to Whitney Houston, "I'm so glad that you went and took this song and made it #1 worldwide." She said, because you made $10 million more than I did, and she got all the royalty from it. So I thought that was kind of amazing. And I didn't realize that...
Destroyed it. I'm sorry, destroyed it.
You know what I've noticed, though? That back in the day, it seemed like people were always doing... bands and stuff did far more covers of other people's music than they do today. Or maybe they
Lester, how are you? May I welcome you to the panel this evening. How are you, dear?
I am peachy.
We have been talking about so many things.
Well, you know what? I had to run earlier today down to the lake and take care of some stuff, and then I got back this evening, and then I listened to some shows, and then I went out and had to do some stuff, and so here I am.
Glad you're here, brother.
Now it's almost complete without one little teeny weeny person.
Who?
Jewish producer.
Debi.
He was on fire last night. He was something else, wasn't he? He was funny. I love him when he's on his game.
Hopefully he will join us. But it does seem, though, that there used to be like more famous bands and stuff and famous singers doing more covers than they used to. And the same thing with like movie remakes. You know, you think that remaking a film, is something they do nowadays, and why don't they do anything new? But they used to remake films all the time back in the day.
Mm-hmm. What about the fact that they redid, so many people had remade songs, Lester, and people wouldn't even know that, my daughter would say, "Hey, Mom, have you heard this song?" And I'd be like, "Heather, that song, is so," you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They don't realize that it's an old song.
Yep.
Or even like on movies and stuff. Same thing.
Yep.
I never knew that Bedazzled until I talked to Mr. Midnight Movie just about a couple of weeks ago was a remake.
Dudley Moore is, in my opinion, I really enjoy the Dudley Moore version far better than the Brendan Fraser version.
I never saw that, but all I know is I have a list, pardon me, of the top 50 according to Rotten Tomatoes, which I know Mr. Midnight Movie loves Rotten Tomatoes. The 50, the best remakes. It's not 50, okay? You want to hear them?
Songs. I'm sorry, movies or songs?
Movies.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
It is getting close to Oscar time next week. It will be.
Mm-hmm. Rio Lobo.
Oh, wow.
A remake. Okay? Yeah. That's number 50. 3 Men and a Baby.
I don't even know that movie.
It starred.
That was actually a French film before it was an American film.
The Birdcage. Wonderful movie.
That was also a French film.
Hysterical.
The Birdcage. That was with Goldie Hawn?
No. It starred Robin Williams, Gene Hackman, Nathan Lane, and Diane West.
Oh, I knew that. I was just checking you out on that.
Oh, okay.
See, that was just a test.
That was actually that was a French film before it was an American film.
Mr. Midnight Movie, Cape Fear. Martin Scorsese's remake of Cape Fear provided the director with a box office smash to follow up the critical success of the previous year, which was, anybody want to take a guess, Mr. Midnight Movie?
Anybody?
Oh, the previous year he had made, I believe, Casino.
Ta-da! Good for
Yeah, I'm
you.
One of the
Goodfellas.
best
Is it Goodfellas?
movies ever.
Casino or Goodfellas?
Casino. Casino or Goodfellas, Lester?
I'm going to say Casino.
Casino.
Yeah.
That's why I was
I
saying
like
it was just a great movie. But those two movies are just,
Epics.
oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Goodfellas,
There's a
right?
couple of tough scenes in Casino, but still.
There was. There was no movie that compares in tough scenes than to Reservoir Dogs.
I've heard about that. Isn't that an army movie?
No, that is where they went out and they robbed a deal and they had planned a big caper and they're all shot up. I think who has anybody else seen that movie but me?
I've never seen it. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
Michael Madsen, Harvey Keitel. What's his name? The little guy. Who?
Dave Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi. Yeah.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that was the bloodiest, goriest movie that you will ever see. I mean, other than a slasher film, I guess.
I was watching a movie earlier that was interesting. It's called Savages. Have y'all heard of it?
Nope.
Was that
Yeah.
with
John
Seymour
Travolta.
Hoffman?
No, John Travolta. What about this? War of the Worlds, a remake.
That was remade twice, and
Really?
I didn't
Cruise,
see the-
right?
Yeah, Tom Cruise, and then the original one was in the 1950s.
Welcome to the show, Riley.
Hey, Debbie.
What's up?
I got one for that movie.
All right, let us have it.
Probably, I would say, what was it? Machete, or Hobo with a Shotgun.
Never heard of either
Wow.
one of them. Hobo with a shotgun? What the hell is that?
That's a really good one.
That
That's
was
got
with Rutger, that was with Rutger Hauer.
yeah, that was a really good one though.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
My friend, can I say his name? Fat Faggot. He saw that at the. He actually went to the theaters and saw that film.
And why is that shocking? Was it not in the theater or something, or what?
It was
No,
a
well,
limited release,
It's a real low budget film that.
but it did really, really well.
Yes, it did.
It was,
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to Ocean's 11. How many of you knew that was a remake? Did you know, Lester?
No, I did not, but I love those Oceans movies.
Oh, I do too. I could watch them every
You know what?
day.
Yeah, I knew that, though, and I was like, "Why are they remaking this?" I wasn't, for some reason, I don't know why I wasn't that big of a fan of the original.
This is going to blow your mind, Lester, because it's going to blow my mind. Down and Out in Beverly Hills was a remake
I never knew that.
from 1932.
Oh my God.
Now,
Was that with? God, I can't even remember his name.
it's another French film.
Oh,
It says
Do
down.
we- Do we get all of our movies from the?
It's beginning to look like it.
Yeah.
I know of another film that was from the French. Have you ever heard of District B13?
No.
It was a small kind of breakout film. It started out in France, and then we made one here in America.
Okay, what about this? The original was in 1941. Heaven Can Wait.
Oh my God, I didn't know that either.
No, starring
That was with,
Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty.
And the original was with Don Amici.
You're correct. I'm trying to do
Wow.
ones that are more popular. Of course, we all know King Kong.
Yes.
This is going to blow your mind. Are you ready for this one? Scent of a Woman.
Oh my God, are you serious?
One of my favorite movies was a remake.
That was probably a French film as well. Italian film.
Do what?
That was probably a French film or an Italian film.
Are you ready for this? Scarface.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
knew
knew
that.
that.
That one I knew. That I knew.
Al
I did.
Pacino stars as Tony Montana, an exiled Cuban criminal who goes to work for the Miami drug lord Robert Loggia. Montana rises to the top of Florida's crime chain, appropriating Loggia's cokehead mistress Michelle Pfeiffer. It says, I can't find where it was originally made. The original.
The original one was 1932, and it was. I can't. I remember my father took me to see that at the New Art.
Really?
The movie Hell's Angels. It was. I can't even remember. It was Paul Muni, George Raft, and Boris Karloff.
I'm so depressed. I didn't know that. What about this one? No, I guarantee you half the people listening. What about this one? Pay attention, chat room. Pale Rider, starring Clint Eastwood, was a remake.
No, I'm just getting disappointed now.
Are you ready for this? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Fuck me.
A remake. Are you ready for this? 3:10 to Yuma. A remake.
No.
I saw both those. I like that one. I actually like the remake better than the original. That one was with Van Heflin and Glenn Ford, and then the remake with Christian Bale and God, I can't even remember the actor's name. But
Liam Neeson was in that, wasn't it?
what's that?
I think
No, Liam Neeson was not. No, that was
I'm
Christian
thinking of
Bale
something else.
and who played the fighter in the Cinderella Man? What's his name again? I got it.
Of course.
The chick?
No, the fighter.
No.
Oh, he was from Come and Listen to a Story About a Man Named Jed. It was his son.
No, he played the fighter in the Cinderella Man. Who played
Right, I know who I'm talking about. It was who played? Oh, come on, man! It was
He was in Robert Stomper.
okay. Who played in Come and Listen to a Story About a Man Named Jed? Who was the actors in that? It was who was
Beverly Hillbillies. I don't know the
right?
guy's name.
Who was the big goofy guy? Oh, his name was
Max Baer.
Max Baer Jr. was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not who played the lead.
That's
in the
not
film.
who played the fighter.
Yeah, and
Oh.
into humor.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
True Grit.
Grits, yeah, I'm just looking
Yeah.
at that.
Now I'm
I
aware
like
of
the
that.
remake to that actually better than the original as well. And I'm a big John Wayne fan.
Are you ready for this? Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I like the 1981 version. That's been remade about 3 to 4 times.
Fistful of Dollars, Casino Royale.
Oh, Fistful of Dollars was originally a Japanese film, Bojimbo.
Doesn't he just blow your mind? I mean, if you really get him going, he really is interesting when it comes to movies.
Man, I'm
Yeah,
telling
well,
you, I am in shock.
Wait, didn't
And
they
then it was-
remake?
They remade that again with The Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, who was
Damn.
first it was in, I think it was 53, Bojimbo, and then second time, Sergio Leone made it with Clint Eastwood, Fistful of Dollars, and then the third time was, I think it was called Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis and Christopher Walken.
Wow.
I can't argue with him because I have no idea what he just said, but it sounded
Me neither,
right.
but it sounded, it was right on.
Yeah.
3M.
Yeah.
Didn't they remake The Count of Monte Cristo like 5 times?
I only know of 2 versions that they made that. One, I think, was Robert Donat, 38. They made other TV versions of The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, right.
They made an animated version.
Right, I'm
And,
probably thinking of
but
those.
theatrical versions they've made twice, and I've enjoyed them both.
I also have a list, since we're on films, we're going to be stuck on films. Who thinks they can name the best fantasy films of all time? If I give you a quick list, going with 50, we went through 50 right there really quick, and it starts 50 is called, if
Are we
you've,
playing for money?
no. If you've heard of it, let me know. The Princess and the Frog,
It's a cartoon, right?
Sante Sangre, never heard of that. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The Bridge to Terabithia. Frozen. I've never heard of these. Harry Potter and the Half-Blooded Prince. Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, these are not fantasy films. These are cartoons.
They're more
I've
kid-oriented.
heard of one of those. Just the fact that you said Harry Potter, although I've never seen a Harry Potter movie, I've only heard of Harry Potter in all those that you said. I don't know of any.
I was not a Harry Potter fan, by the way.
I can't stand
I saw one
it.
film and I was completely disappointed.
I've never seen any of them.
I cannot stand it. They have a list of, when a picture wins best picture, right?
Yeah.
In the season of the upcoming Oscars, I will give y'all a movie that's best, that got best film, and tell me if you remember it. Out of Africa.
Yeah, you won Best Picture.
The Great Ziegfeld. Around the World in 80 Days. Gladiator. No, I'm not asking when they won, my love. I'm just saying, do y'all like them, or give me a comment. I thought all guys liked Gladiator. Okay, one of my favorites, I did not know this one Beck's picture was Driving Miss Daisy. It's an adorable movie. Very sweet movie. What about The English Patient? Yeah, these are all best pictures. What about Chariots of Fire? Terms of Endearment? Loved it. Chick flick? Yeah. Okay, you ready, boys? Platoon. Who knows the tagline from Platoon? The tagline, wasn't it I love you long time? I don't see the tagline. It says Oliver Stone's breakthrough as a director. Platoon is a brutal, realistic look at a young soldier's tour of duty in Vietnam, played by Charlie Sheen. It is, I love the smell of Maypom. There you go, Maypom in the morning. What? Well, screw that. I blew that. American Beauty. Right. You never saw American Beauty? It's amazing. I love anything with Kevin Spacey. I could watch him. The Man That Stares at Goats? The Deer Hunter? The original Rocky. I thought that Rocky 2 was just as good as Rocky 1. But Rocky loses in Rocky 1. Did y'all think Rocky lost in Rocky 1? And then he comes back and Apollo Creed trains him in Rocky 2. Oh, okay. Okay, you ready? It was the first one. And what did he say? What'd you say? Silence of the Lambs. That was a good movie. Remember the tagline was, "Hello, Clary. Hello." Wow, it really was. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The Bridge Over the River Kwai. Wow. Amadeus. Wow, there's some good. Okay, you ready? Patton. Tell me you've seen that, Lester. Oh, yes. I think he was born to play General George Patton. The Godfather, Part 2. And Gone with the Wind. Casablanca, All About Eve is number 2, and coming up with number 1, The Godfather. The original Godfather. And it says, one of Hollywood's greatest achievements since the history of film, The Godfather gets everything right. Not only did the movie transcend expectations, it established new benchmarks for America cinema. Popularly viewed as one of America's best American films ever made, the multi-generational crime saga, The Godfather, is a touchstone of cinema. Good night. 100 fresh tomatoes. Here we have the trailer from The Godfather 1. And take it away, Godfather 1. Please tell me they're going to have some audio here. I've been duped by the trailer, but not to be defeated. You know, Debbie Daly's never defeated. I'm going to pick up a scene. I have to see it. It's been heralded as the best movie of the world of ever, forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just went potatoes over it. Let's listen to the best scene from The Godfather. Speak, for God's sake. Somebody speak.
All right, come on, do.
Is this going to end bad? They're all standing up.
Buonasera.
Bonacera?
Buonasera. What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully? If you'd come to me in friendship, then the scum that ruined your daughter would be suffering this very day. And if by chance an honest man like yourself should make enemies, then he would become my enemies. And then they will fear you.
Be my friend? Godfather?
Good. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me.
Oh, I remember this.
Until that day, accept this justice as a gift on my daughter's wedding day.
Grazie. Yes, Father.
Good.
I didn't think that was the best scene. Did you guys? I mean,
No, it's
No,
not
I
the best.
And you know what has a better trailer is Rocky.
Rocky does have a great trailer. The original
quick,
Rocky?
Yeah,
The
I'm
original
sorry.
Rocky.
The original Rocky.
Does
Yeah.
he say
Slayer
in the-
50, hold on,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Slayer 454. Why can't I get his number right? Slayer's saying that he can't hear the callers.
And he just now tells us that.
I just looked over. And,
Okay. Well, I'm getting perfect levels on you guys.
You can hear me all right?
Slayer, if you're telling me an injustice, I'm gonna have to kill you.
Whenever I speak, it bounces up and down, and whenever you speak, it bounces up and down.
Slayer, can you hear us now? Is there any issues right now? Please let us know so we don't continue on with nothing.
I'll turn you guys up.
No, I think we're good. I thought we were. Let me listen to the playback. That'll be quicker, Steve. Thank you.
If I had my iPhone, I would check the playback. But I've got the recording going of the show.
We're perfectly fine. Maybe something happened. I don't know.
Okay.
As I said, the original Rocky.
So it's gone like 10 minutes.
Had a great, and to me, it was a great, a great trailer.
I loved it. I loved it. I just, what can you do? It's just the best. Everything was perfect about Rocky.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's just a brilliant story.
And the best scene was in, now Mr. Midnight Movie, it was in the last Rocky film that I thought was one of the best inspirational speeches I've ever heard. I played one night, we were talking about inspirational speeches, Lester, and we were talking about when Rocky Balboa was talking to his son, and I think this is absolutely epic, and I am moved to play this. I played it before, and I loved it. Listen to this.
Okay.
Now he's watching his son get his butt kicked by his boss. And he's saying, you're crappy, you're this, you're that. And here he comes walking over to his father, who is Rocky. And
So
what
nervous about the fight?
They're scared to death.
You don't look scared?
Well, you ain't supposed to.
Then you don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, I think I do.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is going to be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Well, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself. And this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke and that I'm gonna be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this. But you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. Was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.
Unbelievable.
That is some great acting right there.
Lester, I believe I heard those words from your mouth about 24 or 48 hours ago.
Yeah, buddy. I was thinking the same exact thing.
I'm not kidding. You said the same thing, that people too many times nowadays try to blame something for their failures.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Man, that fit right in. I was thinking about that. And that was how long ago?
When was that made? We'll just ask the movie man. When was the
Yes.
last Rocky made, sir?
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, I had myself on mute.
Mr. Midnight Movie.
And myself on mute. I think
There
that
we
was
go.
made.
Wait, everybody take a drink. Whatever you've got in front of you, drink.
I already have to pee.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm gonna say I believe
Come on.
that film was made.
Don't you Google it.
He's Googling.
No,
I'm not
he's not.
googling
He's
it.
in
I
bed.
don't even remember. You know, I was gonna. I remember that was the day that a girl we were supposed to go to the movies, and she flaked on me. I believe that was. God, I believe that was 2003.
Nope.
I could be totally-
2006.
That was my second guess. That was my second guess.
Oh, liar, pants on fire.
Don't you?
But I think that, but I want to stop and talk about this for a second. Not any particulars, however. Why is it, Lester, so crucial that when we fail in life at whatever it is, why is it so important and so imperative that we accept that blame, that we accept that it's because of us that we failed? Why is that so important?
I personally think it's important that we accept our own failures or lack of achieving whatever it is that we set out to do in order for us to actually learn. You know, when you start blaming others for the problems that you incur, it just becomes a cop-out, and then that becomes a habit. And then no matter what you do, you will accept the failure because you're just always going to point at somebody. You're going to find somebody else.
Yeah, and if it's somebody else's fault, how can you fix it, right?
Yeah, you can't. That's
about
exactly right.
That's it.
See,
Well, a
so
lot
it
of
takes the
people blame their
responsibility.
parents. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bud.
A lot of people blame their parents. And parents will.
Right.
There are parents that put disadvantage, but you don't become a mature adult until you stop blaming your parents.
Brother, I absolutely agree.
People, I'm a poster child for child abuse. I'm a poster child. I'll get my family in here, my extended family, that will tell you the shit I went through. But I don't blame that. I don't blame anything I do right now or anything from what my actions are my actions.
100%.
Right.
Yep. That's where I'm at.
I went out to the lake today to handle some stuff out there, and I was talking to
What did you have to do? Check on the dam and the fish.
Oh,
check on the lake.
Yeah. No, I've got a cabin out there at the lake, and
all right.
Yeah, and I had to just go. I hadn't been out there in a
Mow the
while.
lawn and get the mail. Go ahead.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Is that where you talk to the boys?
That's where I
At the
talk to the
cabin
boys.
near the lake?
Sleep with the fishes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Go
It's
ahead.
very,
anyway-
very
I want to
nice.
hear what you have to say, dear.
Anyway, I agree to a degree that we are a product of our upbringing somewhat. And this man was telling me about these two twins that were and you can I don't know the exact story. I'm having to paraphrase everything the guy told me. But they took these two twins, and one of the twins was basically given to this very affluent family, and the other one was raised in poverty. The one that was raised in the affluent family became a doctor. The one that came up in family with no direction whatsoever ended up in Joliet prison by the time he was 19. And I don't really know how that, I think that was talking, I'm kind of referencing what Mr. Midnight Movie says. I agree that we can't blame, because the one that ended up in prison blamed his parents. And I find it strange that the one that ended up as a physician never credited his parents. And I don't know where I'm going with that.
Now,
but
wait a minute. I think this is excellent. The one that went on to be something great, did he credit his parents?
Never.
No, he didn't.
And the one that did bad blamed his parents.
Correct. And had his parents been able to guide him properly according to him and do all of these things for him, then he could have ended up like the other one or whatever, but he ended up in Joliet prison looking at a 30-year stretch, whatever it was, but he blamed his parents. They were solely the reason that he was there.
Bullshit.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I
It's
agree with
surprising that you mentioned that, because they've done a lot of twin studies,
Yes.
and they found out that most of them took on the same, had the same type of careers and the same type of paths, and they acted the same whether they grew up in wealth or poverty.
Right. Well, I just know that this man was telling me about this, and I don't even know how we got into that discussion, but he was telling me about this deal, and this guy that apparently wrote about this was some kind of psychologist, and he came up to the conclusion that it was not in your genes that you're going to be a bad person. It truly was in your upbringing. And that was, and of course, when you start talking about psychology and stuff, you're always going to find all these varying different things. But I agree with you, Debbie. Once we become adults, we all have gone through some bad shit in our lives. Some worse than others, but we're responsible for our own actions. We know, all of us know the difference between right and wrong. And
It's amazing.
It's
amazing.
Go ahead.
I'm just sitting here shaking my head going, it's amazing. I have heard people in my own home have a girl act a certain way and somebody go, she was abused as a child. And I'm like, now, wait a minute. So she gets a hall pass. She has a hall pass, and the hall pass says, Dear Life, please allow Janet to act any frickin' way she wants because she was abused as a child. Thank you.
Right.
No. Bullshizzle.
I agree.
I think people, I remember, there was one time I tried that shit in life, and I'm going to open up and be honest with you. There was a time I was with somebody that I wasn't trusting, and he came home and said, I'm fed up with it. If you don't trust me, I might as well screw around. If I'm going to get condemned for it, I might as well do it. And they said to me, I stood there and I said, I can't help it because my dad messed around on my mom, okay? And I was using that as an excuse for my selfishness with this person, and I did a absolute 180 in life at that point. It was a big turning point in my life, and I learned all about what it is to trust and that it's all about you and not the other person, and it's amazing. But no, I think it's ridiculous that people, and even blaming somebody else that's not in your family, not even your parents. What about that?
Yeah.
Say that again.
What about people that blame other people for things that they do that aren't their parents? Well,
I just think it becomes a lazy cop-out.
But you're never going to fix the behavior if you don't accept the responsibility.
Sister, you and I agree 100%.
I mean, if I don't admit that I screwed up, how am I going to fix something?
Well, you're not, and you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And, I just don't understand. Some people have this innate need to blame somebody else for everything that goes bad in their life.
Do you think it's because they're so self-righteous that they can't even admit to doing something wrong?
I think ego has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. And a lot of people who do that, who like blame their parents for their own shitty behavior, inflict a lot of pain on the innocent. I don't necessarily believe in forgiving your parents, but I do believe in not blaming them after a while. I mean, you have to hang around other people and deal with them, and you got to be your own person.
Well, the way I look at it is, if somebody abuses me, be it my mom or my dad or my brother. Other than that, if somebody abuses me, they go to jail probably. But I'm saying if somebody really seriously abuses me, I look at it like this. This is always the way I looked at it. Who is messed up, me or them?
Right.
Them.
That's what I always say.
Them. Because anybody that would abuse a son, a daughter, or a sibling is really messed up. Okay? And I mean, you can take some sibling abuse too when you've got an older brother, trust me. Oh, and I always looked at it, my grandmother would sit me down and say, Sister, who is messed up, you or them? And I would always go, well, them. Okay, right? And so why should I allow a messed up person to wreck my life?
I agree.
I'm the normal one. I'm the right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Do what? What did you say, Mr. Midnight Movie?
Or become the... Now, do you become what you hate? Like, if you hate them, like, does hating an abuser make you become them?
No. I just think you become what you are. You live what you believe in, and your own. You establish your own belief system. You don't ever try to become. I cannot stand when somebody sees, and I will not tolerate it in this family. I'm beating on my desk. In this family, I do not agree with anybody that goes, he's just like his father.
Oh, God.
He's not just like his father. He is a human that is a human. Because if the father, I just can't stand that. Oh, he's just like his Uncle Louie. No, he's not. And I just hate that because you're labeling a child that's going to mimic. And I'm talking about little children, by the way. 4 years old, 6 years old. I think it's crucial not to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a lot of the behaviors that are like my father, the behaviors that I couldn't stand about my father. I used to act just like him, and sometimes I still do. And that's a part of me that I need to work on, but, it's there. A lot of us carry on our family traits.
We all do. I mean, I agree with you. I did the same thing. I wanted to be like my dad when I was younger. Then I grew up and I realized that I didn't want to be like him because it didn't make any sense. But at the time, he seemed like the coolest fucking guy on earth. But anybody that uses that as an excuse is just really weak. And it becomes an excuse. It really does. When somebody says, "Oh, poor me, I'm not going to succeed at this. I suck because of my family." You don't accuse anybody of anything that you can't do. It's always on you.
You know what I've noticed, though? The people who have the hardest time with their parents and, hate their parents and, have this ongoing struggle with them, a lot of times have the same type of behavior and mannerism as the parent that they hate. They act a lot like the parent that they hate the most.
That's true. I've seen that. And I don't understand it. I still don't get it.
But I just don't believe that you can, I lost my parents when I was really young. Both of them at the same time, plane crash.
Wow.
So later on, as I grew up, people would tell me later on, "Well, you wouldn't understand this because you wouldn't understand." Well, I do understand what's right and wrong. I understand that you are.
Because why?
Because that's the way it is. I don't even know how to describe that.
No, they would say you don't understand this because.
If there was some kind of big conflict going on in somebody's family or whatever, and somebody'd say this, I'd say, well, why can't you guys just get along? Well, you wouldn't understand.
Really?
You didn't grow up with a mom and a dad like that.
That's
you
ridiculous.
Wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get. Well, I understand what it's like just to be an asshole to somebody because you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought my life was pretty fucked up till I heard that you'd lost your parents in a plane crash. Jesus.
Yeah. Of course, I was young enough that I honestly don't even remember what I felt.
Well, you might have blocked it out. You never know.
Yeah, and I think your mind's a tremendous thing. When I say remember, I was like 8, and I honestly don't remember anybody telling me that they were gone. I don't remember any of that.
Wow.
So
that's
heaviest duty
because
thing
I've heard beyond the age of 9. That's an unbelievably traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so consequently, I did get something out of that. Was this? I think somewhere as a kid, I never wanted. I was kind of a trust fund baby, so I was a popular kid with the adults.
Right, with the adults.
Sure.
But I was always
take care of little Lester. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Till he's 18.
Yeah. Well, they know how to work that. But anyway, My point is there when I was a kid, like when I was like 12, I had this just terrible fear of abandonment after that.
How did you fare in relationships with girls when you were dating and stuff? Did you?
Well, I always left them before they had a chance to leave me. Isn't that stupid?
Really? Yeah, no. That makes perfectly good sense.
I knew it.
Because,
I did.
Sometimes secretly we'll run people off. We'll be mean. We'll be mean to people, and run them off because we're scared that they're going to run us off. Did y'all know that? That's weird.
Riley,
and I do know that now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that then.
Riley, are you there? Riley?
Yeah, sorry.
How many times have you told me that you get told I'm just like my dad?
Once in a while, but I think, probably less prevalent.
Okay. And you told me one time, though, son, that you got told all the time, am I just like my mom or my dad?
I don't remember. Jeez.
Well,
I feel like I'm getting old.
In case it happens, Riley, by the way, is 16.
Oh my God, you're
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't
bet.
sound like it, does he?
No, he doesn't.
And I don't look it usually.
He looks like a little Republican.
I'm
Especially
growing
when he's wearing his
my
suit.
mustache again. I'm growing my mustache again. I'm bringing that back.
You have a mustache?
I have a light mustache right now.
You're on the
By
wrong
the way,
show. I'm joking.
By the way, Steve,
It's a private joke.
Yeah.
I saw this Liam Neeson thing. I forget, it was an older Liam Neeson film.
Yeah.
And he had longer hair. He looked just like identical to you because he had the same type of jacket on. He had the same type of expression. I was just like, when did Steve become Liam Neeson?
Wait a minute. Let me look at that.
I don't even
Because
know
I
who
said
he
it.
is.
You don't know who Liam Neeson is.
I'm not a movie guy. I mean, if you told me like a movie,
Wait, are
that
you
he was in, I'd get it.
serious?
If you told me like a movie, I'd get it.
What was the? Let's see. What was the deal where they kidnapped his daughter?
Come on, Mr. Midnight
Taken.
Movie.
Taken.
Didn't see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, hey guys, I'm gonna have to bid adieu.
Oh, really? It's early. It's Friday. Wait a minute. It's Saturday night. It's Friday night. You have to work
Friday
tomorrow.
night is the time that I gotta get up early in the morning because I work on Saturday.
I know. I forgot. All right. We love you.
Take care, buddy.
All right.
Bye,
Great
buddy.
information tonight. Great information tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's
Thank you.
plan out. Wait a minute. Let's do an Oscar show the night of the Oscars.
That is
Yeah, we all have our
March 2nd.
picks.
Yeah, we'll
And
have
I'm picking Gravity now because I think that
Can't change.
Now here's what
I
we're going
have
to do.
inside
Listen.
information.
We're going to put money on this, people. Start doing. All four of us are the original four, the four that are on the panel. Start doing your research, and it'll cost you $5 a pop to go into a bet. And you put your. We're going to all put our things in. We're going to win the pots.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Do your research. All right, Mr. Midnight Movie. Until we meet again, my friend.
Take care, Lester,
See you, buddy.
Steve, and
Little man.
what's the other? Little man. All right.
Riley.
Riley. All right, guys. Take care now.
Good night, Mr. Midnight Movie.
Be safe.
Right.
Mr. Midnight Movie, everybody. A friend indeed.
The way he
Yeah.
was throwing away the way he was throwing around those names and movies and dates, it was like, wow, it's like me.
He's
with
insane.
80s rock. It's
He is
nuts.
He's like the Rain Man of movies.
Thank you. Exactly.
He's a movie Rain Man.
He is a movie Rain Man. Definitely got his Wapner
Yeah.
comes on at 3. Wapner comes on at 3. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
definitely
and
a driver.
by the way, Steve, I found a movie that Liam Neeson is in. I don't know if you saw it. It was called Kinsey. I'll send you the Wikipedia page.
Kinsey? I've never even heard of Liam.
Have you ever heard of a man named Alfred Kinsey? He invented the Kinsey scale.
What's a Kinsey scale?
The Kinsey scale was a scale that was used to be able to
Weigh Kinseys.
No, it was able to weigh like a person's sexuality, like were
Really?
you exclusively straight or were you exclusively gay, or were you
Yeah.
partially gay or partially
Yeah.
straight? Or in
That
the middle.
was not very good. Didn't they use babies in his experiments and stuff?
They did from what I hear, but I'm not exactly sure. It's very sketchy.
Oh my God.
As of stuff, but the Kinsey scale is quite accurate.
They would
nowadays.
try to make the babies have orgasms, Lester, and we had a show about
Ew.
it. When I was
Yeah.
when I would listen to me, when I was on Blog Talk Radio, I did a show on it, and I got protested about that show because I had a speaker on there that night, and we were giving out facts. It was horrible. If I'm thinking right, it was Kinsey. It was Dr. Kinsey that did this.
Didn't Kinsey and some woman team up and do all of these sexual studies
On babies.
Well, he was
I didn't know that.
What did you say, Riley?
He was one of the earliest people to get into sex. That's the interesting thing about him. While what he did was very immoral, I believe that it was...
What did he do that was immoral?
Well, the stuff, with babies and things like that.
Oh,
but,
my God, that's just sick.
Sick.
Well, yes, but that was only in some cases. But let us not go that way.
Okay, wait. That's like saying I'm not gay, although when I was in college, I did have sex with a man a few times. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess
To
that's
me, that's really grotesque, and he should have been shot. But anyway, go ahead.
I think he actually
How do
died.
you feel, Debbie?
I don't know. That's a good way to feel.
But I do think some of the tests that weren't involving children, some of the ones that were involving adults and stuff like that, I think were very important. But I do not condone the ones he did with children.
Man, in my world, he wouldn't have got to the other test.
There you go. Yeah.
That's why I said he should have been shot.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it was a very slippery slope back then.
yeah.
It says
Start-
the Kinsey scale, also called the heterosexual-homosexual rating scale, attempts to describe a person's sexual experience or response at a given time. It uses a scale from 0, meaning exclusively heterosexual, to 6, meaning exclusively homosexual. In both the male and female volumes of the Kinsey reports, an additional grade listed as X was used to mean no socio-sexual contacts or reactions. In modern times, this represents asexuality. The reports were first published in Sexual Behavior in the Human Male, published in 1948, written by Alfred Kinsey, published by Wardell Pomeroy and others. It was written by Alfred Kinsey, Wardell Pomeroy, and others, and were also prominent in the complementary work Sexual Behavior in the Human Female. It's amazing. We talked about this one time. Now, I think this is the person that used Baby. Am I right about this? I'm right about this, right?
I'll do some back research.
I've never heard about it, but it's pretty terrifying stuff.
It was very hard to even talk about what he would do to these babies.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I got to turn away.
Oh, listen to this. It says right here, allegations against Alfred Kinsey and his research on children's sexual responses as reported in Sexual Behavior in the Human Male were first made in 1981 by Dr. Judith Reisman. She subsequently enlarged on those ideas in a book written jointly with Edward Icke and published in 1990 called Kinsey, Sex, and Fraud. When the Kinsey Institute responded, Reisman filed suit in 1991 against the Kinsey Institute, then Director June Wrights and Indiana University, alleging defamation of character and slander. It says, the act of encouraging pedophiles to rape innocent babies and toddlers in the name of science is offending. The act of protecting them from prosecution is very offensive. The act of falsifying research findings, which in turn open the floodgates of the sexual abuse of children. Yeah, they would have adults I can't even say it.
Yeah,
I don't even want to hear
Maybe
it.
you shouldn't.
Oh.
Horrible.
Oh.
So
it's already enough of a visual. That's pretty bad.
Now, what was the thing you said? What Kinsey looks like? Steve, is that what you said?
No, I said because Liam Neeson. I was looking through Liam Neeson's.
How did we get on this? Is what I'm saying.
He said
what
Liam Neeson
happened
played
was
a
I
part.
was looking through Liam Neeson's thing, trying to find the movie that I thought, the part that Liam Neeson looked like Steve, and I happened upon this, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So.
Liam Neeson.
How'd you like to be an actor and play that part, and that's the part you got
that ain't
typecast in?
happening.
I will
That ain't
say
happening.
it was funded by PBS. So
He does look like Steve in that picture. A couple of pictures he does. He favors Steve in a way.
yeah, because he's got the same kind of hair.
Steve, it's Liam and then it's Neeson. Neeson. Yeah, he does favor him some. Yeah, I can see the resemblance. Absolutely.
That movie Taken was a good movie.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Was it as good as Kidnapped? But with I'm so horrible with names. The guy, I don't know. It was a wonderful movie. It was. I'll look it up. Sorry. Never mind. Sorry. I hate that. I hate when I can't. I just step on my own. You know what here.
Kind of looks. Yeah, there's some features, but not really. The guy looks older than me, much older.
Well, he is. Much older.
When it was younger, his younger
maybe.
bits, he looked way more. They did an A-Team remake with him in it, playing Hannibal.
Yes, I did know that.
You know what
I saw the trailer on that. Yeah.
I would love to do a like Silence of the Lambs remake, but I would love to do like a young Hannibal. That'd be really cool.
Now, who did the Passion of the Christ? Who got all that trouble for that? His name was.
What's his face?
I can see his face.
Mel Gibson.
Mel
Okay.
Gibson. The one I knew.
Mel Gibson did a movie about somebody taking his son.
Oh, yes, and he refused to ransom.
Ransom. That is
Ransom.
a very, very moving very passionate, moving film. If you've never seen Ransom, I highly suggest you see that. It's wild.
Whether you like Mel Gibson or not, that's a good movie.
Well, I like him as an actor.
The part in the movie that got to me is when his wife, the kidnapper, calls and he says, "Give me the money or I'm going to kill him." He says, "Then kill him. You're not getting the money." And the wife just falls apart. And he was calling his bluff, and it worked. So I don't suggest that, but
Yeah, it's probably a bad thing to say.
hey, I wanted to ask you. Speaking of that, I've always wondered, Lester. I know you've spoke before about law enforcement. How many actual kidnappings are there ever that are documented in history where people held them for ransom?
God almighty, I would not know.
I've never heard of anybody being kidnapped. Has anybody?
Well,
I've never known anyone.
Well, wait a minute. Frank Sinatra's son. I think if you look that up, you'll find that. But I think Frank Sinatra's son was in on that.
I have heard that most, when they sound the alarm for the, what's the blank blank alarm that they sound, the
Amber Alert.
That's usually always a ex-husband taking a
relative or something. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. We get a lot of those here in Chicago.
Let's see. Patty Hearst was supposedly kidnapped, right?
Correct.
Was she really kidnapped, though? I mean, was she made to do a
bank robbery?
Okay.
Yes. She actually went to prison, I think.
She did?
Yeah. And then she fell in love and married the guy that was assigned to her.
Now okay, now that's where they got the famous, what is that called when you fall in love with your kid?
I do know what you're talking about.
It's called the something syndrome.
Stockholm, is it Stockholm?
Stockholm syndrome. Well, now I do have a list of some of the ones in the United States. It says that in 1904, remember the blimp people? What were they called? That blew up.
Lindbergh.
Hindenburg.
Oh, no, it just sounds like it has nothing to do with the Lindbergh.
Yeah, the Lindbergh.
It says Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. was kidnapped by a person by the name of Bruno Richard Hauptmann, and the baby was subsequently murdered.
And I think if
they never found the baby, did they?
No, and I think if you read that, there's evidence later that turns out that the Hoffmans might have been innocent, although they executed those people.
Are you serious?
And they said that and some people believe that they killed their own child on accident.
Yes.
What? It was 1 year old. Wow.
Yep. And they believe that the baby was shook to death or killed somehow, and as a cover-up because he was such a powerful person.
Did y'all know that during the Korean conflict that there was 90,000 South Koreans were kidnapped by North Korean, and they were all subsequently murdered? That's sad.
Wow,
that's a lot of people. Is it true that in the Vietnam War that there were more casualties than all other wars put together?
I don't think that's true. I think that in World War II, didn't we lose something like 300,000 men? And in Vietnam, we lost 52 or 54,000?
Oh, no, I think it was more than that.
Here's what I do know about the Vietnam War. 54,000 people were killed, or 50-something thousand. 300,000 were wounded or maimed. And 2,000, little over 2,000 were taken as prisoner of war. Now, I'm looking
at the stats right here. I'm looking at the stats.
Okay, what does it say? Because I think I'm pretty close on that.
The Civil War. It says that the total casualties were 646,392.
There you go.
Good Lord.
And the Mexican-American War was just 17,000.
Oh, wait a minute. You're saying total casualties on both sides?
No, total U.S. dead.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, total U.S. dead. And wounded. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, let's see, the American Revolutionary War, there was about 50,000 with 25 dead, 25 wounded.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, let's see, about, there's like 144 in this one. And then
I'm sorry. I was just going to say if I could digress when you're done.
World War II, 1,076,245, with about 670,000 being found excuse me. This is a hard thing to read the way they've got this. About 116,000 in World War I, about 405,000 dead in World War II.
Okay.
The Korean War was 38,000. The Vietnam War was 58,000. You're correct, Lester, on your numbers.
Yeah.
So it looks like the biggest one was World War II. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Wasn't that a long war, though?
It was a long war. Very long war.
Was that started in like 37?
No, I'm
World
so
War
wrong.
II.
I'm looking at a beautiful graph that somebody did. Here it is, the total American deaths by war. American Civil War is number one with 625,000.
There you go.
Of course, now that's both American versus American, so
Right.
I'm not saying that's hard. But anyway, number two is World War II with 405,000. World War I is number three with approximately 100,000. Vietnam is next with 58. Korean, 36. American Revolutionary, 25. There's just one that many people here. And then we go down to the War of 1812, which was about 15,000. So the biggest one, I think, is the American Civil War. But I think that's really, you're counting both deaths.
That's not really a fair deal because everybody was
everybody
from here.
was an American, exactly. So
Yeah.
I would say World War II.
Mm-hmm.
I have something, an interesting little stat here. Global kidnapping hotspots. Where would you guys think, without Googling, where do you think the number 1 through 10 would be the place that you'd be most likely to be kidnapped?
Mexico City.
Chicago? Oh, globally?
This is
Mexico.
globally.
I say Mexico
France.
City.
Mexico comes in number 2.
Mexico.
Oh, wow, okay.
Mexico.
It's got to be Eastern. It's got to be somewhere in Eastern Europe.
I'll start.
Oh, wait a minute. It's got to be someplace in South America. Brazil.
Brazil is number 3.
Oh, fuck.
Colombia?
You got the first.
Colombia?
You got 2 and 3.
Colombia?
Colombia is number 1. Very good, Deb.
Yay, me.
Oh,
They're mean.
Anybody want to guess on any other ones?
there's France has got to be in there. Eastern Europe in general.
No?
France? Nah.
I would
France
think
is not
because
there.
there's a big sex trafficking.
Riley, no, you don't like the French. We're very sweet people.
Well, the French took all the medals this year.
Go ahead,
in
Steve.
freestyle skating.
So,
Thank
so
you.
number. I'm sorry. Number 4 is the Philippines. Number 5, Venezuela.
Yeah.
Ecuador comes in 6. 7 was Russia. 8, Nigeria. 9, India. And 10, South Africa. That was in 1999 was the last time the stats were taken. But how did you get Colombia, Deb? I would have said Mexico, Brazil.
Colombians are mean. The Colombian cartel, are you kidding?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, Colombia's
Yeah.
Fufu Latouche is
Yeah,
from
and
Colombia.
it's bad.
But Filatouche is from there, but she was kidnapped at an early age too. Maybe that's why she's so angry.
See, I've heard that in Brazil, as great as you hear about all the stuff is in Brazil, that's not a place that an American wants to be walking by himself.
You do not stray
regardless
away.
of how badass he thinks he is.
Absolutely, they'll cut you in pieces. They'll never find you.
Yeah.
Well, they do a classic thing in Brazil. They'll wrap tires around you, then they'll pour gasoline and light you on fire.
There you go.
That's a classic gang way of executing someone.
It's a terrible waste of tires.
It's gonna hurt too. It's gonna last a while.
Buddy.
You get to smell burning rubber and flesh.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, that's your recipe for the day.
Mm-hmm.
But Mexico was number 1 in 2006. Iraq, which was number 2 in 2006, is not even on the board. So Iraq is in India. That's not on the board. Now it came in 9th. So I don't know. Those are the hot spots for. Don't go to Colombia right now. Don't. I love Mexico though, but like it was said, if you go on a cruise somewhere, stay where the people are. Don't go wandering off on your own. Otherwise, you may never come home.
But do they kidnap you or do they just kill you?
This says kidnapping. So I guess that if you don't pay the ransom, what you start.
But, I mean, are they really sending a ransom note to the hotel,
No. What they're doing, I think, is getting your information.
Yeah.
And then they're going to call home and say, look, if you want little Johnny, here's the deal.
I don't know. What would you do if somebody were to kidnap, say, baby bumpkin over here? Oh, okay. Thank you, Josh. Were to kill Angel Love and say, you've got 48 hours to get us, $3 million or whatever. What would somebody go to the bank and say, hi, I need to borrow $3 million? I mean, what would you do? What would somebody do? What happens?
You have to go to the FBI, and the FBI, does the setup and taps, and hopefully to God that they could.
I bet it's just like that movie Ransom.
It has to be, because nobody can come up with $3 million unless you come from a very affluent family.
I would think that they would only kidnap somebody from an affluent family. Now, have y'all ever seen the movie Suicide Kings?
Yes, I have.
No, you're the first person I've ever met in my life that's seen it. Are you swear?
You're talking about with Christopher Walken, right?
Yes, I am.
Where they cut his finger off.
Yes, you cut his freaking finger off.
Let me tell you, if there's a Christopher Walken movie anywhere, I've seen it.
Best movie in the world. Oh, really? I love that movie. Did you? Okay, let me ask you this. Did you ever figure it out?
No.
I think I figured it out.
Tell me.
The last time we watched it, the young girl, okay, the pretty girl,
right?
She staged her kid. That was a staged kidnapping to get money from her father, who hated her boyfriend, so that they could run away, and to make it look like she was kidnapped by the mafia. And in fact, she wasn't kidnapped by the mafia. It's very hard to understand that movie.
It is hard to follow, and if you're watching it at home and you don't pause it, and you get up to go pee or get whatever and come back, you can be totally lost in 5 minutes.
But it is one of the most amazing films. But I think that there's a lot to learn in that film if you're a man, because he talks about Suicide Kings, guys, is the game that they play, the card game that they play. And he says kings are wild, or suicide. It's just amazing. I can't believe you've seen it.
Absolutely.
Here's the trailer to Suicide Kings. Check it out. It came out in 1997, it says. I didn't think anybody in the world ever seen it, but me.
Nope.
You think old Carlo is just going to sit there? It's Carlo Bartolucci. He's a capo to capo, okay?
You're our hostage, Charlie. My sister Elise has been kidnapped. The kidnappers demanded $2 million ransom.
I got nothing to do with kidnapping.
We know that, but you got contacts, the kind that know how to fix these things.
I'm gonna kill you!
What's going on in here? Ira, you scared us. I came here to play poker. Guys, that's what you told me you were going to be doing. That's why you wanted to use the house, right? That is not poker. Get out right now. Come on, let's go. Hey, and take your weird junkie friend with you.
For 5 good friends, the answer to their problem is tied to a chair in the guest room. But these college buddies are about to get a lesson.
Who knows we're here?
In betrayal.
This one you are not going to believe. Get a hold of Luno. I need to know who took her, where they got her, the whole 9 yards, and I need to know now.
Graphite, huh? I'm going back to steel.
Listen, Charlie. The word is they use an inside player on this one.
Whoever's behind this kidnapping is using an inside player.
One of us might be in on it.
I will smoke him out.
All right.
That's just...
You're the man. Look at him. What are you worried about?
What am I worried about? We just want to stick to the plan. I think we should just let Charlie go.
Oh, no,
hey!
no!
Will you relax?
I got a gun in my hand. What are you going to do, shoot me?
You didn't think this through too good, did you?
Say you're sorry.
Suicide Kings. Now we play my way.
I don't put my gun down.
That's right.
I just remembered I don't know anything. I didn't understand a damn thing about the movie now that I think about it. It was horrible. I mean, it
was a great movie, though.
Oh,
I'll have to check that
an
out.
amazing movie, but I never understood it. I never understood it, because why was those there's so many different. If anybody watches the Suicide Kings and understood exactly what happened, would they please let me know someday? I would love to know it.
Well, the one thing is these guys kidnapped this old mafia guy.
Right.
And they didn't realize that the old mafia guy still had a few tricks up his sleeve. Man, he played them.
Right, but why did the guy say, my sister has been kidnapped?
Well, the whole concept of this was to get the money out of the mafia guy.
Right, but who were these other players, like those two stupid guys that were watching the cartoons? And
It's been so long since I saw
really?
that movie. I may have to watch that again.
I've always wanted to talk about this movie on my show. If anybody,
I tell you what, you watch it, and I'll watch it over the weekend.
Everybody,
and then one day,
try to go
everybody
watch it. Everybody go watch it. And one night next week, we'll talk about. Let me see if you can get it free on YouTube. Sometimes you can get.
I just checked that. No.
It says full movie. I guess no. Let me see. Sometimes you can get it free on YouTube. Suicide Kings. No, it doesn't look. Full movie part 1.
I think you can get it on Crackle for free, but that.
It is unbelievable. You will thank Lester and I for saying, watch Suicide Kings. It's amazing.
Looks good. I'll have to.
Sounds interesting.
Oh,
Sounds
it's
good.
unbelievable. This is one of my.
What was the movie with Christopher Walken in it that had Christian Slater?
I don't know.
Why can't I? Who starred with Jack?
Psychopaths?
No, who starred with Jack Nicholson in Easy Rider? Why can I not think of his name? Not
Dennis
Peter
Hopper?
Fonda. Dennis Hopper. It had Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Christian Slater, True Romance.
I've heard about that. They used to use taglines in my chat room about that.
Oh, I'll bet they did.
There
was some taglines that we don't dare even approach here. But I'm telling you, that was an excellent movie, and to me, it kind of renewed my respect for Dennis Hopper, because I always thought he was, in the early days, was kind of a two-bit actor.
Like, I don't know where you get.
Hey, this is a public service announcement from Christopher Walken on Word on the Street.
Like, I don't know where you're getting your information, Mr. Bear, but it's unreliable. Isn't it?
That phone call I got, it comes from outside high walls and fancy gates. It comes from a place you know about maybe from the movies. But I come from out there, when everybody out there knows. Everybody lies. Cops lie. Newspapers lie. Parents lie. The one thing you can count on. Word on the street. That's solid.
That's solid. He says the one thing he says, cops lie, your parents lie, everybody lies, but there's one thing you can count on, and that's word on the street.
Word on the street.
Which is rumors.
That's right.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it.
Drum solo.
Oh, dear. Yeah, I love Christopher Walken. And you know something interesting about him is he hated doing Suicide Kings, and I'll tell you why. He said that part of his acting was his hands.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He said that part of his acting is his ability to pause, like I just did. You know, he's like, it's that pause he does right there, you know? And the second is his hands. He uses his hands crazily, he says, in all of his... And I was like, wow, here is True Romance scene, the Sicilian scene.
Oh, you better watch. Okay.
It's
yeah,
pretty
it's gonna be heavy duty.
Is it pretty tough? Really?
Well, it's not so much that it's brutal as it's going to be so politically incorrect. It's unreal.
Oh, well, we're not going to play that then.
Okay.
We're on probation right now. We're being political incorrect.
Wait a minute. Let me give you something here. Here is the top 10. I just gave you the link to it in our chat. Mm-hmm. It's the top 10. I don't know what they are, and I'll tell you if you need to stop.
The top 10 what?
Christopher Walken performances.
Oh, I'd love to see this. Here we go. please mute on the board? It's 6
He's
minutes.
the king of quirky cameos.
Boy, I sure heard a bunch about you.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our top 10 favorite Christopher Walken performances. Number 10, Whitley Strieber, Communion. This movie is really not very good, but you can't have a list of memorable Walken performances without it. So why not kick off the list with the weirdest of the bunch?
I am you. You are me, and we are here.
Who else but Christopher Walken could mesh so seamlessly with the frightening array of crazy crap that goes on in this movie? Instead of giving you a strong central character to save you from the weirdness, his presence just makes it all the more disturbing.
Terrible.
Number 9. Gabriel, The Prophecy. This supernatural thriller is the perfect example of a film that wouldn't be on anyone's radar without Christopher Walken. The 80s and 90s were his heyday when it came to villainous characters, and this half-terrifying, half-hammy portrayal of a very angry angel is evil Walken at its most unrestrained.
You know how you got that dent in your top lip? Way back, before you were born. I told you a secret. Then I put my finger there, and I said,
Oh, and Viggo Mortensen plays the devil and eats Walken's heart at the end. That's worth the price of admission, no? Number 8, Caesar the Exterminator, Mouse Hunt. You figure that when they wrote the script for this movie, they just...
Hysterical in Mouse Hunt. Remember?
For Walken. And everyone just understood right away.
You have to think like a mouse. If you can do that, if you can think like a mouse, you can anticipate their moves. Then, boom.
The writers didn't have to go to great lengths to show the audience just how nutso their character was. One look into Walken's eyes and you know right away. Number 7, Mr. Smith, Nick of Time. Walken often plays characters with shades of weird, but here he proves he can pull off the straight-up bad guy just as easily. Of course, there's a...
You know, looking at this, I can see what he means by using his hands.
Yeah, a lot of mannerisms.
Okay.
Scene stealing Walken's speech thrown in for good measure, but it's his effortless, friendly while threatening demeanor that makes him such a convincing and scary villain.
That's right, I did. I killed him. He f***ed up one too many times, so I put a bullet in his eye. Then I put 2 more into him just to make sure. Now, that was somebody I loved. I loved him. But I got the call, I put him down like a sick animal.
It may not be a role that only he could have played, but he definitely adds that special touch to an otherwise straightforward flick. Number 6, Johnny Smith, The Dead Zone. That crazy look in Walken's eyes is used to great effect in this movie. He plays a man stricken with haunting premonitions after being hit in the head in this Stephen King-inspired tale. The story requires a certain morbid weirdness to bring it to life, and Walken's unhinged persona manages the task perfectly.
I'm scared, Sam. What's happening to me?
Number 5, Don Vincenzo Coccati, True Romance. This entire movie is essentially a well-written sequence of cameos, so it makes sense the head bad guy should be the king of cameos himself. Walken steals scenes as a mob boss who is attempting to intimidate the hero's father, played by Dennis Hopper. Not too frightening, not too friendly, Walken still manages to shine in a film overloaded with familiar faces.
I haven't killed anybody since 1984.
Number 4, Frank Abagnale Sr., Catch Me If You Can. The memorable 2 mice story from this globe-trotting adventure is classic Walken.
2 little mice fell in a bucket of cream.
But there's much...
And one of them panicked so much that he curdled it into butter and climbed out, right? No? I forgot. I think that's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost over. It's about a little over.
I'm watching along with you. It's pretty cool.
Are you really?
Much more going on here than one quirky monologue. At the beginning of the movie, you're not sure what to make of Walken's character. In fact, his sliminess is off-putting. But it's that complexity which makes him such an endearing father figure. The scene in which he confronts his con artist son is unexpectedly heartbreaking, and is surely why this role got him an Oscar nomination.
United States government champ, running for the hills. Bow to the moon.
Number 3, Frank White, King of New York. Walken's turn as a gangster turned modern-day Robin Hood is a true powerhouse Walken performance if ever there was one. While smaller, quirky roles have become his trademark more recently, this movie proves that in his prime, he could carry entire movies on charisma alone.
From here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in.
He succeeds once again in making a questionably motivated character seem believable, which is something a more clean-cut actor wouldn't be able to pull off. Number 2, Captain Coon's Pulp Fiction. While this list surely proves that Walken can take on starring roles with ease, he's become legendary in recent years for his bit parts. And if there was ever one scene that epitomized his rise to the ultimate king of cameos, it's this monologue from Pulp Fiction. Very serious, very stupid, and more than a little uncomfortable.
I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years.
Classic Walken. Number 1, Corporal Nicanor Nick Chevitatovich, The Deer Hunter. We often think of Walken as funny, quirky, weird, but early in his career, he was a dead serious actor. For The Deer Hunter, he consumed nothing but bananas, rice, and water in order to portray the shell of a man we see at the end of the film. Here, there is no weirdness, no bizarre monologue to quote with your friends, just a haunting and Academy Award-winning portrayal of a man who's beyond saving. Do you agree with our list? We're sure we've left out a few of your favorites, so let us know what you think in the comments.
No, that's out of the question. That's just, not the way I do it.
Can I just say one word about that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He is an amazing actor.
He is. There's no doubt.
Oh, brilliant. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He plays mafia people really good.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
He's
does.
so-
I forgot
he's
about the King of
intimidating.
New York.
Yeah.
The King of New York was just a phenomenal movie.
I wanted to mention a different movie if I could, because we mentioned Silence of the Lambs. That's my favorite movie of all time. My second favorite movie, and I don't even like scary movies or violent movies at all, but Misery is one of the greatest movies I think of all time.
Mm-hmm. That was a good movie. Did you see that one, Lester?
Misery with James Caan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Kathy Bates.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I just knew about it.
Oh, man.
You
didn't
really have to see it. You have to see it.
And to lighten up the mood, here's some of the best famous impressions compilations. This is going to be fun. I love impressionists. I love them.
So I'll be driving, I'll be speeding, cop pulls me over, he'll come to the window. Oh, geez, was I speeding?
He's doing Columbo.
I had no idea. I guess I was looking at the odometer.
I just don't think you can do better than Frank. What's it? Frank Caliendo? God, he's funny as shit.
Oh, he could do so many voices. He nailed
He
it.
is amazing. One time he did his two best voices. He did them talking to each other. It was Frank Caliendo's greatest impressions.
His John Madden is just spot on.
That's one he's made the most money for.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awesome.
But I think he does, the guy that did, Meet the Fockers.
Robert De Niro?
De Niro.
He does De Niro talking to, shit, I'm so bad. Talking to the other guy he does.
John Madden?
No,
George
no.
Bush?
No.
He
It's
does
another.
a good George Bush.
It's another bad guy. But I think he just gets stuck on John Madden sometimes, and he doesn't get off of it, you know?
Yeah, during football season, they bring him in a lot. The NFL pays for him to come in and do the voice.
Yeah, but to me, it just goes over, and I don't know.
The first time I heard him, I think he was on Opie and Anthony doing that.
I found out about him when I heard him do his quick popcorn popper commercial on Mad TV.
Yeah, that's where he started, Mad TV. Absolutely right.
And that's him doing the same guy. He does a really good Bush, and he does a good Yoda. Here's a short one of him doing Bush and Yoda. Let's see what this. It's only a minute long.
Cool.
I just love this guy. I think he is brilliant.
For the last couple of years, they're always like despised and criticized completely by the Democrats. If I was President Bush, I'd start nominating and appointing fictional characters. Just to see if I could piss everybody off, right? Just get up there and go, "Hello, America, gobble gobble." We will be replacing Donald Rumsfeld today. Rumsfeld? Whatever. He's the only president who can answer a question like a 17-year-old girl, too. Like, whatever. Talk to the fist, because the hand don't exist. Boom, just gotcha.
Have y'all ever heard is anybody over here a big Bush supporter?
No. Couldn't stand him.
Have y'all ever heard when they actually showed what an idiot this guy is?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's called Great American Speeches, and it's just funny. They play a little bit from this one and a little bit from this one, and then when they get to him, he's an idiot.
He was a buffoon. He misspoke. He had to take speech therapy. He couldn't read certain words, and when he did, he'd always muff them up. I mean, it was pretty bad. He was pretty horrendous.
His best deal was where he messed up that "fool me once, same on." Then he goes, I forgot how he says, "Same on me, fool me twice." Well, you just can't fool me again.
It's an idiot. Here it is.
Exactly.
It was made by the people at the Late Show, and take a listen. This is really funny. Check it out. Check it out.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
You'll be able to see a technology, a technology that will enable you to converse with somebody on long distance and it seems like the person's out there. If it feels good, do it. If you got a problem, blame somebody else. It's hard for me to explain why that was the case. Just take my word for it. But I also want to tell a story. And here's the story. My dad, like many of your folk who got relatives here, many of you whose relatives did the same thing, you're here, their relatives probably aren't. You know, they don't like what's being said is not, they're not just stiff in the United States. I don't know if that's a diplomatic word or not. Our people have done a really good job of hauling in a lot of the key operators. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Abu Zubaydah, Ramzi al-Sheeb, or whatever the guy's name was. I thank you all and the citizens of this community for this. Thanks for coming. Be seated. Thanks for coming. Welcome to the White House. Thanks for coming.
Just amazing.
God, he's funny. What an idiot.
Yeah.
He was an idiot.
He became president merely because his father was so powerful. But what did he bring to the table?
They made a
fucking voted for him.
They made a fool out of this guy. This one's called The Best of Bushisms. No, wait. The Most Hilarious George Bush Bloopers. I got to hear this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Check this out.
That's the only thing we have to...
Oops. Same thing.
Same one.
Same one. I see
Debbie's
that.
looping them tonight, folks.
No, they just have it. They have it written. I mean, they have the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Never mind.
retitled it, yeah.
Precisely. This one might be funnier. I love listening to him make stupid remarks. I don't know why.
It's easy.
The category tonight are top 10 favorite George W. Bush moments. Top 10 favorite. This is an accumulation. Top 10 favorite George W. Bush moments. All of them captured here on videotape. We have 10 of them. Top 10 George W. Bush videotape moments. Here we go. Number 10, the trip. Number 9, not knowing his left from his right hand.
The left hand now knows what the right hand is doing.
Number 8, the butt slap. Number 7, drinking.
I know I've told this story before. I was a drinker.
Number 6, cleaning glasses.
He was always
Number
cleaning
5,
his glasses.
confused stare. Number 4, talking about his visit to Africa.
You may recall we went to a park in Botswana.
Went to a park in Botswana.
You need help. Here I am.
Number 3, helicopter head bump. Oh. Number 2, the dog drop. He's fine. He's fine. He landed on his back. And the number 1 top 10 favorite George W. Bush moment, looking presidential.
What an idiot. A lot of those were video. I'm sorry, but
but we get it. We get it, because he was just a buffoon.
He was an idiot.
Just a buffoon.
Still better than one president that I can think of.
You just wrecked that joke, Riley. Still better than who?
I think he's trying to be politically correct.
Cough, Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter was a good president.
Actually, Jimmy Carter was one of the best presidents that we've had. Isn't that right? In history, Lester, isn't that right?
I would say.
Well, he caused there was a huge financial collapse. I mean, we had mortgage interest rates going up past 20% under his deal, and he did kind of make a little snafu with the Panama Canal. But other than that, I mean, I think Jimmy Carter was a really, really good man.
Great man, and still is, you know.
Well,
yeah.
Wait, he's still alive? Lord, I am getting old.
You're 16. Fuck
I
you.
know. I know.
hate
but
people that say
my
that when
brain
they're just
is like 80.
infants.
How dare you? We're all over 40. I'm getting old. We should. If we were together, we would dogpile you.
I would punch you in the face.
Steve.
I love the taste of my own blood.
Have you
plenty of it?
Have you ever seen Steven?
I'm just kidding. I love
Have y'all ever heard Will Ferrell do George Bush? And what makes it so pretty and beautiful and perfect is that he doesn't even talk like George Bush.
He kind of does. He uses the mannerisms. You're right.
I saw that one-man show that he did.
Oh, when he was doing George Bush.
Was this SNL?
Oh my God, that was good. It was on. I saw it on HBO. Where he did a one-man show about Bush, and he was
hysterical.
Bush.
It is freaking hysterical.
I laughed my ass off.
Absolutely.
Loved it.
I liked. Also, we were talking earlier about The Godfather. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the funniest thing in the world was when Saturday Night Live did John Belushi as The Godfather. Do y'all remember that?
Oh God, I feel like I do.
Well, you're 80.
Well, my brain is very old-ish sometimes. I get a little scatterbrained.
Well, it's hysterical. He's in therapy. He's in group therapy, remember? And he starts talking about... Now, I loved him doing Beethoven. I loved him doing the Samurai Delicatessen. Funny things like that.
That sounds really interesting.
It's hysterical.
I'm trying to think of a Belushi thing that I like that he
Wait,
did.
he's like a samurai in a delicatessen?
Yeah.
You ever heard of Samurai Delicatessen?
Is he like serving food or?
Should we?
Yeah, play him a clip, but it's more of a visual. But
Lester?
Yep, I think so.
Samurai Delicatessen?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what about Samurai Hotel? I've got them all, except I don't have Samurai Delicatessen. I can look it up though.
I'll check it too.
Well, it's okay. I'm the one that plays off the thing here. John Belushi in Samurai Delicatessen. There it is. It's so freaking... We have the 25-year thing over here that we wear. There it is. Okay, he's working, obviously. It's very racist, but very funny.
And now, another episode of...
Get that!
That's fine.
Get
Stock's going down 11 points. Look at it. You said that this stock would split.
That's not it.
I found the best of Samurai Futaba.
Yeah, I found that too.
I think as long as it's on, it clears all the stuff on TV. It's cool, though. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
as long as it what?
I think Saturday Night Live is one of those things where you kind of have to sit down and experience it. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is for us, for you playing it on here, I think you're probably okay.
You're missing.
Think.
Yeah, you're missing a bunch of it. You're missing a lot of these.
Oh, well, you know what? You're right. I bet you because so much of that's visual. Yeah,
absolutely. But this isn't visual. This we played on our show one night. It's called The Funniest Joke Ever Told. It's by the guy that you know how bad I am with who's the guy that did Well, Mary, I don't know what.
Oh shit.
God, I'm so bad with.
I'm the same way.
Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy's very good. He tells the story of this joke, and it's really, really funny. Here it goes.
The story is about the man and his wife sitting having breakfast. Very nice couple. And the man said, Margaret, no, it was the other way around. Margaret said to John, John, if I would die, would you get married right away after my death? But John said, well, that's the darndest thing. Here's a beautiful morning, and we're sitting here having a nice breakfast together, and you bring up this terrible thing about death. I'm not going to talk to you. That's a terrible thing to do, Margaret. And I forget about it. But she didn't forget about it. She brought the same thing up that night. And he did the same thing. And then for about 3 days, she said, now, what, if I would die, would you get married? Finally, he gave up, and he said, one night, she said, if I would die, would you get married again? He said, yes, I would. No, is that settled? She said, would you sell the house? He said, no, I wouldn't sell the house. She said, would you sell our bed? He said, no. No, I wouldn't. It's our bed. I don't see any reason why. No, I wouldn't sell the bed. She said, well, you certainly wouldn't let her touch my golf clubs. And he said, no, she's left-handed.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's a special joke for Mr. Lester right there.
Yeah, buddy.
Little golf joke, buddy. That was a hole in one, right?
That's it. Boom.
Oh, hole in one. Oh,
Steve. Hey now, gotta have the one-liners ready.
My man.
Did you know? I found something very interesting. I came home and flipped on the TV, and I have CNN on for some odd reason. And you know the guy who does Dirty Jobs?
Yeah,
Micro.
Micro. Yeah.
Wow,
right.
You guys are good with the fast names. Jesus. Me and Debbie with names, forget it. Anyway, guess who they were talking about? They were talking about Walmart.
Whoa.
And they were talking about Rush. Because Rush is the song Working Man is for the new Walmart commercial. And a lot of people are saying that Rush sold out by doing this. And it's just, playing the song Working Man in the background. and it says it's going to bring $250 billion in the next 10 years from American companies. And Rush came back with the results saying, listen, if this is going to make money for the country, from your country, why is it such a big deal? So that was a big thing in the news, actually, today. So for my band to be in the news still after something that's, 41 years old, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Max Ramstein in the chat room is wrong. He says, Debbie Kinsey never was involved in experiments on children. He wrote about pre-adolescent orgasms using data in tables 30 to 34 of the male volume, which report observations of orgasms in over 300 children between the ages of 5 months and 14 years. Well, then, what? You're sitting here going back on what you just said. Are you kidding me?
One way or the other. You can't say both.
Max. Yeah. No, and another thing in the chat room over here, I just went to the chat room for the first time. Boomshine says that better than Cater, Clinton, and Obama. Who is Cater? I'm not sure what he's means by that.
Cater.
Carter. Better than Carter, Clinton, and Obama. He says that the best president.
I assume he's talking about Bush.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, I see that message. No, he's saying that Carter was the worst president next to Obama. Who would you say is the worst president? Obama?
From probably, yeah.
Just to stay politically correct, I don't think it's Obama. I know I can get lambasted for that.
Well,
I'm not going to say it certainly wasn't Clinton. I think Clinton was a great president who got caught in a scandal and shouldn't have signed a Fair Trade Act. I'll go with that. I don't know who would be the worst president. That's a great question, and everybody has a different opinion, so I don't talk politics. I never
had a problem with Clinton. My only problem with Clinton was his gun bill that he tried to pass. Other than that, I thought he was a pretty decent president.
Shouts out to Fabiday, who is currently at the moment with a tiny little 3-year-old Asian boy that is so sick. He's going to be passing any time now. And she is with him. And wow, she's got something I don't have. Shouts out.
I'm glad that she's going to be part of the show. I really am. I look forward to her being part of that because she could bring a whole new level to it because she's a great lady.
It should be interesting. I hope so. That I was in a chat room. I was in Guy Shea's chat room, and John Gonzalez was telling me. Now, Max just said Kinsey was not involved in the abuse or experimentation on children. He researched it.
Oh, so his information came from other people's work.
That's still pretty bad, though.
I don't know. Are you sure, Max? Oh, Rama?
Yeah, no shit.
Are you sure about that? We really went. I remember you were raising a fit about that years ago when we talked about that on the show.
Was he on the show when you guys did that?
No, he's never been on the show. But I believe he was in the chat room raising a fit about it. But I think you're wrong. I think from everything I've read, Kinsey is the one that organized all this stuff. Oh, you called in that night? I don't know. I think that Kinsey was the one that... What do you mean he was not involved in it? He researched it. What does that mean?
You research something, you're involved in it because why would you be researching it?
I'm trying to figure out how he gave babies orgasms because I thought you couldn't have an orgasm until you reached a certain age.
Well, let's don't talk about that. It's really, really rough. It was hard to deal with that night.
The information is straight from Wikipedia.
I probably need to do some,
Did Lester ever come back?
No, I think he's probably doing his phone or something.
He told me he
had a phone call.
Yeah, he told me he had to take a phone call. He'd be right back. So.
By the way, I forgot to ask you guys, what are the Oscar nominations like? What are the movies being considered?
You want to get that, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just get the list. I was going to do one thing other than that. I was already at another people thing over here. I was
do that, and I'll look up this.
Today's famous birthdays are George Washington. Happy birthday.
How old would he have been, does it say?
Well, if he was still alive, he was born in 1732. So, gosh, I don't know.
Almost 400.
300, 400 years old, I guess. Robert Kardashian's today is his birthday.
Oh.
He died in 2003. Steve Irwin, the crocodile person, would have been, gosh, I don't know. I don't have my calculator out. Drew Barrymore, happy birthday, is 38 years old today.
Really? She's that young?
Mm-hmm. Julius Irving, Dr. J, is 63 today. Happy birthday to Dr. J. And James Blunt, the singer, is 39 today.
You're beautiful. Remember that?
You're beautiful. That was so funny.
Dang it, I used to love that.
Ted Kennedy's birthday is today. He died in 2009.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Robert Young of the Father's Knows Best series, today's his birthday. Happy birthday. He's not around anymore, though. And Sheldon Leonard is a famous producer. Don't know him. There's a bunch of them, but I don't know them. I could read them, but I don't know who they are.
I might be able to tell you. It depends.
I don't really care.
Way to be gentle, Deb.
It's fair enough.
Maybe Michaels, Clinton Kelly, Julia Walters. Now we know Bruce Forsyth.
I dated her.
Really?
Zach Rohrig. I mean, I don't know these people.
I miss Gene Kelly.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, funny thing, I know you really like Christopher Walken, Debbie. Christopher Walken did a thing about Gene Kelly. Do you want me to pull it up for you? Because he's mostly talking, you know.
What do you mean, Gene Kelly?
Like he did a little 3-minute talking.
I think we've moved past that segment, caller.
Fair enough, Debbie.
I would like to throw something right at you. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
No, forget it. It sucks.
Okay.
I was going to do the VH1's 100 Greatest Hard Rock Songs.
Oof.
Nah, it's just we're just going to get in a fight over about Rush.
No. They're well in there. They're in there a ton of times. But you know what's bullshit? Do you think that the number one greatest rock song of all time is Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses?
Ugh.
But second is a great one, Back in Black by AC/DC.
Oh,
Then Led Zeppelin, A Whole Lot of Love. That's a great one. Paranoid by Black Sabbath. That's a great one. How the fuck does Guns N' Roses take number one?
I think Rush should take number one.
Oh, don't kiss his ass. Are you kidding
No,
me?
I think so because I really like Tom Sawyer. That's a classic for me. I used to rock out to that back in the day.
Back in the day.
Well, I mean, back when I was still being taken everywhere in my mom's car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking for a greater song.
Oh, by the way. Oh, sorry, Steve.
No, go ahead.
I discovered this new headset, and I need to get your opinion on it. I know you're the big audio guy. They're called Diamond Tears. They're by a company called Monster.
Monsters are just expensive, dude. You're just paying for kind of a name.
Oh, like what do you
go with Logitech. Go with Logitech and save yourself a ton of money.
What do you recommend?
Right, Deb?
Mics.
Mics? I like the Yeti. Get the Blue Yeti. Snowball's nice, but you're going to save money by getting Blue Yeti because they put them side to side, and the Yeti always comes out ahead.
How much do they retail for?
$100, $150.
It's really doable, actually.
Saves a lot of money, and you get the exact same results.
Because I want something that doesn't make me sound like a complete idiot every time.
I do that just with my words, so I rely on my words to sound like an idiot.
We all have our moments in life.
And see, rock, they say Sweet Emotions is the number one rock song of all time, which I believe should be up there, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good song. Yeah.
Kashmir, number 2. That's a fantastic song. I agree with this list much greater. Rolling Stones, Give Me Shelter, number 3.
Oh, God, that's a good one.
AC/DC, Back in Black came in 4th. And the Beatles.
What about Led Zeppelin?
A Day in the Life by the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that there's a 3-year-old toddler in Arizona that just got admitted to Mensa with a 160 IQ?
Wait, and the average person has 100.
Wait, this baby just got admitted to a college or something?
No, I'm going to repeat that.
Oh.
An Arizona toddler just got admitted to Mensa with a 160 IQ. I want to see how this reads. Out of Phoenix, Alpha Routers. She's not even in kindergarten yet, but a 3-year-old Arizona girl has been accepted into an exclusive society known for its brain power. With an IQ over 160, Alexis Martin of suburban Queen Creek is now the youngest member in the Arizona chapter of Mensa, says a Phoenix television station. Alexis, who reads at a 5th grade level and has taught herself Spanish using her parents' iPad, qualified for scoring among the top 2% of the general population on standardized intelligence tests. Ian Martin told ABC 15, the local affiliate over there, in an interview that the family began noticing something about their daughter that was different when she was just a year old. She would recite her bedtime stories from the night before, he told the reporter. She didn't even recite them. She recited them perfectly. Martin told ABC that Alexis, who started reading at age 2, can amaze people with her gift. Anytime she learns a word and just picks it up through anything, she never uses it in the incorrect context. Alexis is one of 3,300 Mensa members under the age of 18, with another 56,000 over 18. That's
remarkable. It's remarkable.
When I saw that, I just had to report that. So
yeah, I read that. I read that as well, and I'm like, wow, IQ of 160 for a 3-year-old.
We were talking about kidnapping earlier. Out of Routers again, kidnapping earlier. A 7th grade football coach was ordered held without bail today and will plead not guilty to the kidnapping and murder of a 10-year-old little girl that was snatched off of a Springfield, Missouri street and later found dead in his basement. Craig Michael Wood, 45, accused of abducting Haley Owens from a neighborhood in Springfield, made his first court appearance today over a video monitor from the Greene County Jail. Witnesses said Haley was walking along a street shortly before 5 p.m. on Tuesday when a man driving a pickup pulled up alongside her. She tried to ignore him at first, but then he pulled her into the vehicle and sped off. Some people gave chase on foot, and a motorist followed the pickup but lost it in traffic. Witnesses called the police about the abduction to trigger them, and they sounded the Amber Alerts to no avail. Police said that they found Haley's body in the following day in a plastic storage tote in Wood's basement with a bullet wound to her head. There was evidence that he had attempted to clean up the basement with bleach. Wood was formally charged in Greene County Associate Court on Friday with murder, child abduction, and armed criminal action. He was ordered held without bond, and a preliminary hearing is set for April 7th. His public defender, Christopher Burnham at the stake, Hatley, said that Wood would plead not guilty to all charges, although no official plea was received by court on Friday. Wow. That's
sick.
horrible.
As sick can get.
Haley attended a different... It says Wood was a paraprofessional and a 7th grade coach of the boys' football and basketball team at a Springfield K-8 school. Haley attended a different school, and there was no evidence that she even knew him. Search warrant documents released Friday show that police found a 3-ring binder in his house containing pornographic images of young children. They also found video cameras, DVDs, and VHS tapes, but no further details on them were in the report. He had more than 20 guns in the house, according to the search warrant. Wow, they're trying to see if maybe they can connect him to some other murders of children that are in that area. And you know what they said? He kept to himself a lot. He also played in a local rock band. He played guitar, mandolin, violin. He liked to hunt deer. Just a normal kind of run-of-the-mill guy. I say, if anybody ever did that to one of my kids, I would just take them out. I would do it.
You'd hire
Take them out slowly. Take them out slowly.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
let them have any enjoyment.
There's actually an old school torture method the Chinese came with. You tie a person up, then you plant bamboo under them. And it's a fast-growing plant, so slow death.
Well, Steve, it looks like in Illinois, just 9 hours ago, reporting off of Reuters in Chicago, same-sex couples in Cook County, which includes the city of Chicago, can now wed and do not have to wait to tie the knot until a new state law legalizing gay marriage takes effect in June. A federal judge ruled on Friday. Illinois lawmakers approved same-sex marriages late in 2013, effective on June 1st, and several couples had sued Cook County for the right to marry immediately. There is no reason to delay further when no opposition has been presented to the court and committed gay and lesbian couples have already suffered. So he ruled, go ahead. I mean, I think, go ahead.
I saw that on the news,
Right.
and there was a couple beautiful girls who got married today, and the kiss was beautiful. That's all I'm going to say. I had nothing opposed to it. But a lot of people that live in the suburbs, because Cook County is just a part of Illinois, and then if you go further out, some of the suburbs don't count. Well, some of those people are crying foul, saying that it should be all of Illinois. And then soon it will be. Before you know it, the entire country is going to be, pot's going to be legal, and same-sex marriage is going to be legal. There's no more fighting it. There's just why fight something that's just going to happen regardless? So.
Well, I've been promoting marijuana legalization for a long time.
10 hours ago, off of Reuters, out of Portland, Oregon, 4 Portland teenagers have been charged with luring another teen into a shed, hitting him over the head with a crowbar, shooting him with a BB gun, forcing him to eat cat feces, and then carving a swastika on his forehead.
Oh, that's...
The documents indicated that the victim in the case, Dustin Murrain, was lured into the shed earlier this month by a girl and then attacked by other teen boys. When Murrain, 15, asked what they wanted, the 4 told him money and a skateboard, the documents showed. They allowed him to leave to go get the money and the skateboard, but he fled instead to a nearby auto shop where employees called the police. Jenna Montgomery and Blue Kalmbach, both 15, Jess Taylor, 17, were charged on Wednesday with assault, kidnapping, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and robbery in connection with the February 10th incident. Authorities said they were being held on nearly $3 million bail.
Wait, did they not charge him with torture?
I don't think there is anything called torture.
Well, in a way, it's kind of torture.
Well, but we don't just get to make up as we go.
Well, I mean, carving a swastika in the head, that's going to ruin his chances of ever getting a job, unless he gets that fixed up.
Duct tape.
Yeah, well, that's...
There's always duct tape, my friend. No, it's a horrible story, obviously. I mean, I don't want
to... Yeah, it really is.
But what are you going to do? I mean, we lived in a pretty messed up place, and it's sad that things like that happen, but they do.
It seems that 17 hours ago, reported off the Daily Caller, a student at a public taxpayer-funded high school in Michigan has clandestinely filmed a substitute teacher preaching crazy conspiracy theories in front of a high school physics class. Sources who wish to remain anonymous for fear of retribution from school officials have told the Daily Caller that the incident occurred on January the 16th at Grosse Pointe North High School in a ritzy suburb of Detroit, Michigan. I didn't know there was anything ritzy in Detroit.
Exactly.
They say the substitute teacher's name is Jason Glicker. The reason for the regular teacher's absence that day is not clear. We could care less. Initially, the student who recorded on a cell phone set up the camera to show basically just the classroom ceiling. As the clip begins, Glicker can be heard calmly discussing people who worked for the ISI, which is Pakistan's intelligence service. It becomes clear that the substitute teacher is discussing the September 11th terrorist attacks when they go on further to say the ISI is funded indirectly by the CIA. So whether they knew it or not, they were funding the terrorist. He then explains one of the hijackers, Mohammed Atna, he was not a Muslim extremist because he'd been living here for years. He had an American girlfriend, and he was supposedly addicted to cocaine. He further goes on to say that Atta was not a Muslim extremist because if you're a Muslim fundamentalist, you know you stick to and you know the laws of Islam. Next, a confused student raises their hand and asks why the September 11th terrorists killed themselves. Well, that's where it gets weird, explains the teacher. That's where I think it's somewhere along the lines of something like MK Ultra, where they're like brainwashing the people. The teacher does not specify who they are. However, he immediately goes on to claim that the CIA was responsible for the Jonestown Massacre, where 909 people drank poison at the order of a cult leader, Jim Jones. He suggests that the incident was probably just an offshoot of the MK Ultra program. About at the 150 mark, the videographer tilts the camera slightly and shows Glicker writing on the whiteboard what the sub believes are the most easy-to-prove conspiracy theories. The substitute teacher lists MK Ultra, Operation Gladio, which he describes by saying that most governments pretty much they want to start a war so that they would use a false flag terrorist attack. At roughly, they think this is interesting. At roughly that point, Glicker turns his back to the class, and the students can clearly be heard snickering in disbelief about the bizarre stuff they're witnessing. Glicker further explains that Franklin Roosevelt and other top U.S. officials let Pearl Harbor happen as an excuse to enter World War II. As he wraps Iran-Contra affair and more cocaine into the vast conspiracy theory, the videographer becomes bold enough to actually film him talking. The teacher is shown with black hair and a beard. He is wearing a long necklace. The last 15 seconds or so is Glicker's relatively reasonable portrayal of the ATF gunwalking scandal of 10 called in popular parlance Operation Fast and Furious. It is inappropriate for him to indoctrinate students without facts or logical discussion, especially in a physics class where the students who recorded the rant. Personally, I feel that all opinions and perspectives should be valued, and there is an appropriate time and place for them, said the videographer. This was certainly not one of them. Another student who was also in the classroom to witness the screen observed the conspiracy-crazed substitute has continued as a substitute teacher at the high school. I have no idea what that means. The sub continues to fully participate in Grosse Pointe North, the student says. For example, he not only taught soon after the incident, but he also appeared in the student newspaper. Why do we care about that? Substitute teacher Jason Glicker is rarely seen without one of his iconic necklaces on. Blah, 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 blah. He says, I like it when the kids are engaged and they're actually interested. If I have something to say, they seem like they want to hear it, I will definitely tell them. So what happens? I mean, did he not go to, did they not, is he going to get in trouble or?
I mean, he's allowed to his opinion. It doesn't have to be factual.
No, I was a substitute teacher, and you have to stick to the curriculum.
But he's a substitute, so I think that you get some leeway, right? I mean, don't you get some kind of like thing where you could bring up your own subject because the teacher isn't there?
You have to be very careful what you teach kids. You can't go in there and just give your opinion. And to me, conspiracy theory is nothing but opinion.
Exactly. Well, though, I don't even bring up that subject because there's so many out there. It's ridiculous.
Well, we're talking about you talking at the country club and teaching students. That's quite different.
Yeah.
You know, and they were pretty tough on what we could do because I was a substitute teacher for quite a while.
Well, the way I see it, I feel it would be very different if a student was to bring up a conspiracy theory and they discussed it then. But I think it's very different when it's a teacher totally bringing it up out of the blue.
Well, this teacher was teaching it.
Well, that's what I see is, like I said, it doesn't fit in with the curriculum. I occasionally talk with my teachers about conspiracy theories, and I talk to them about what I feel.
That's completely different, Riley. This teacher is teaching this. This is what happened.
What kind of class is that?
It was
physics?
It was a physics class, a high school physics class.
Wow.
I think it's bullshit, and I think that they should prosecute him for find something. Just get the book out and find something. Find something to get him off.
Well, there's some kind of law, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, what do you think, Lester?
I think they ought to just fire him.
That's probably what they'll do. They'll put him on administrative pay and then let him go or keep him.
Well, I mean, think about it.
Sounds like a nut.
I can understand talking about it in the teacher's lounge. I can even, see talking about it to a student, but to stand up in front of a class and actually teach this as fact?
Yeah, I feel that is very different.
It's horrible. It's not different. It's horrible.
you can't talk about 9/11 as a fact. I mean, because
true,
and saying that it was a conspiracy, you can't, because that's not been proven. It's not a fact if it hasn't been proven.
Lester, how many times have you heard the old adage, I fought the law and the law won?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
For the last story of the day, excuse me, a 33-year-old Brandy Boom Boom Burning was she's hot, was pulled over by Broward Sheriff's Officer last month while driving in a hub lane on a Florida freeway because she was the only person occupying her vehicle. During the traffic stop, she told Lieutenant William O'Brien that she was recording their conversation with her iPhone. WPLG Local 10 News reports it's what happened next that Miss Burning is now suing over. In the recorded conversation, you can plainly hear Miss Burning inform Lieutenant O'Brien, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm recording our conversation." Lieutenant O'Brien asked for clarification, to which Burning again reiterated, I forgot to tell you, I was recording our conversation." O'Brien then told her, "Okay, well, I have to tell you that you just committed a felony." WFOR-CBS Miami reports that Burning alleges that O'Brien then entered her car through the passenger side and sprained her wrist while grabbing it to take the phone away from her, reaching for her keys and tried to force her from her car. The entire time, Burning can be heard resisting and saying things like, get off me, you're breaking the law." Eventually, Burning was taken into custody and spent the night in jail. However, charges were dropped and she was released. Now, with the assistance of her attorney, Eric Rudenberg, and Mike Glasser, she is suing the sheriff's office over battery, false arrest, and false imprisonment. He shouldn't have had any concern about what she was doing with her cell phone as long as it wasn't impeding his ability to write the citation and send her on her way. And I have audio. Do we want to hear this?
Sure.
Yeah.
She's pretty cute.
Then we want to see video.
Tonight, Bob Norman has the story of a woman pulled over for a simple traffic stop who ends up getting physically injured in a struggle with a deputy and spending...
Okay, wait a minute. These are the hottest news reporters. Gentlemen, I'm going to do y'all a favor. I'm going to drop this
a link.
They are hot. I'm talking HOTT hot.
Double T's, baby.
These news reporters. Check this out.
We want to see Boom Boom with the double T's.
In the chat room on not Blogstock, but on Spreaker.com. And then here it is for you boys here. Check out not only these reporters, but check out this arrestee. Where did it go? Here it is. So here we go. Again, starting that audio. Look at these girls. Can y'all see it? Look at these girls.
In jail. And it was all because she hit the record button on her cell phone. This is one you have to see and hear to believe.
That's the sound of single mom Brandy Burning during a roadside encounter with a Broward Sheriff's deputy who called for backup to help take Burning down. I told you to put your hands behind your back.
I saw them surround my car, had their guns. At least one of them had their gun out.
Every one of these women look like they could be in the Miss America pageant.
Yeah, they're cute.
They drag me out by my arm. You know, I'm just being dragged on the ground, and then they throw me onto the cop car.
Her crime? Driving her car in an HOV lane. But that's not what raised the ire of BSO Lieutenant William O'Brien. It was Burning's cell phone after she decided to audio record the traffic stop on I-95 in North Broward. Here's what her phone captured.
Oh, I forgot to tell you I was recording our conversation.
I'm sorry?
I have to tell you, I forgot to tell you I was recording
Okay, well, I have to tell you, you just...
Okay, what an idiot. Why did she say that?
She was trying... I've got to say that she was trying to intimidate him.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
A felony.
Okay.
Yeah, give me your phone.
No.
Then he gets in my car, in the passenger seat.
Get out of my car.
You are committing a felony.
Okay, Lester.
I don't know if that's a felony.
It's not a felony.
Well, we don't know.
Think it
we
is.
don't know. We don't know for a fact.
Police will get in your face if you record them with cameras nowadays. They will get
But
in
I'm
your
saying,
face.
Lester, I wanted to ask Lester because
I'm
he's been in law enforcement. Lester,
Ah.
did the cop do the right thing?
Well, it all boils down to, did he issue lawful commands?
Did he have? Yeah. Well, I think this is a classic case of cop gone bad here because.
No, I agree. But you know what I'm saying, though. His only saving grace would be, I'm not defending him. I think he went totally. I mean, what he should have done at that point is called for backup. Got a supervisor there, but it sounds to me like he just got incensed, and he was going to get his way one way or the other at that point.
Well, it says right here that the Sun Sentinel spoke with Barry Butin of the Broward American Civil Liberties Union about the incident. He told the paper that her case is strong because despite Florida requiring two-party consent over recordings, people in Florida are allowed to record video of on-duty police officers. Butin also noted that she should not have been put in jail overnight. So I think that she was within her right to do what she did. And it would seem to me that that's an illegal search and seizure.
Well, yeah, it could be, I would think that more than likely when you're stopped for a traffic act, I worked in federal law enforcement. So
I know.
Yeah, but when you're stopped for a traffic incident, at that point in the encounter between you and the police officer, you are detained.
You're under arrest.
You're detained. Yeah, you could be. And a ticket is truly, it's a Class C, or in Texas, that's a Class C misdemeanor. Technically, he could take you to jail if he chose to. That's up to the officer. That's left up to the officer's discretion and the policy of the department. But technically, yeah, you're under his care, custody, and control at that time. The fact that he chooses to leave you in the car is up to him totally.
But I think what's pissing me off is this girl is going to sue this sheriff's office.
She's going to make a bank
and they're going to settle out of court, and she's going to make and it pisses me off because I have got cases against sheriff's office that are 10 times worse than this.
The only reason why she was pulled out of that vehicle is because he felt as though he was being taunted.
Well, and
there's no reason to pull her out of the vehicle.
He was trying to pull that two-party consent thing. She said, "Did she say audio? I'm recording our conversation."
She just said, "I think you need to know that I'm recording the conversation." And he replied with, "You are committing a felony. Hand me the phone."
Yeah.
See, now, where does he get "hand me the phone"?
Well, he's not wanting this to happen, and you just never know what goes through a person's mind. He was clearly in the wrong, in my opinion.
Well, don't you think that people as Americans don't you guys, all of y'all think that we have a right to record an arrest like that? Why don't?
I personally, yes.
I think that's one of the most important things you can do.
Why not? The Jews
There's nothing wrong with it.
They're saying nowadays that you cannot record anything in a school zone.
You know what? And you're talking about that story that
the one angry Jew.
Yeah, he told. I didn't know if I was.
Now, why? Let's think for a second. Why would somebody be so freaky about recording in a school zone?
Well, okay. Technically, the way that they're going to go with that is they're going to say, "Well, how do we know that this person, not him, but they're going to try to say that this could be somebody that has some ill intentions for children, blah blah." That's what they're going to do because that's what they do. That's when I say they do. That's what people do. They try to paint out the worst possible scenario, and they go, well, this is the reason for this.
But what they're really scared of is we're going to see misconduct on the part of the administrators and or the teachers.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you something, sweet cheeks, it goes on every day.
Well,
sure,
go ahead.
Well, I actually had this kind of thing happen personally. I was brought in over a thing. It was a small thing. It was nothing to deal with. I don't want to get into specifics because Anyway, they brought me in and they kind of said, we want you to keep this on the hush hush. And that seemed a little shady to me because they brought me in. They brought in the police officers. They searched me, you know, they did that kind of thing. And, you know, I was not under arrest, you know, obviously. And they kind of did it, but they kind of intimidated me in a way that, you know.
Who are they?
3 against 1. The school officials.
Oh, okay.
And police officer.
And so they brought in the officer that's assigned to your school?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was kind of this intimidation, not really on, just, I think, barely on the fringes of legality. But I think if I brought this to court, that, you know, it could be one of those things where it was minor intimidation.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, of course, we don't know any specifics, and we wouldn't want you to go into any.
Of course.
So, yeah.
I'm, you know, I might tell you all.
Leave us wondering. Let's see. It
Well,
was sexual abuse. No, I'm joking.
Wow, Deb.
Give us a hint. I mean,
no.
No, I'm joking.
Well,
were you prostituting yourself?
I think you're right.
Come on, who would hire me, Steve?
As Americans, we certainly, I feel like we have the right to record, like, the activities of, you know, these are public. These are people that are paid for by your tax dollars.
Well, this is what we're going to be prosecuted for, is what happened. So
I
why
agree.
not be able to freaking record? I mean, unless they're covering up something, why can't we say, not only do I'm not telling you that it happened this way, but here's proof.
I'd be willing to bet you that somewhere, and I'm totally wrong. I don't know enough about the Constitution other than what most people know. But I'd be willing to bet you that if you did a Google search right now about illegal to record a police officer, somewhere that's an ordinance.
It is. And can I explain how that works? Because I am a photographer and I work at a lot of crime scenes.
Because you said it was a felony.
Okay. It's not a felony.
Right.
Here's what happens. This is a case that actually happened with me. There was an accident. I was on my way home. And it was a very, very bad accident where the car went in and it slammed into a gas station and hit 2 other cars. And there were several people hurt. I immediately pulled my car over. I was on a public sidewalk. They started taping off an area around it because obviously somebody was very, very badly hurt. I took out my camera and I started photographing it. Now, I carry a very large DSLR camera. A female police officer came up to me and she told me, "You have to stop." And I said, "Can I have your star number?" As I'm continuing to take shots. And I said, "Where is the yellow tape? I've not crossed that line. I'm on a public property. I could take as many pictures as I wish." She said, "No, you can't." I said, "Do me a favor. Please bring me a supervisor, and he'll explain your law." And so it went on and went on and went on. And I had taken probably 150 pictures by then because I shut her pretty quick. And supervisor comes by and says, like, "What's going on?" And he said, she said, "This guy's being a dick by photographing this." I said, "No, this is a story. I'm a professional photographer, and I'm allowed to, and an amateur photographer, anybody could photograph whatever they want in a public place. If I pass that yellow line, I then become a felon for doing that." I said, "Until then, as a citizen, I have a right to do this." So
I don't think you become a felon, but you might get into trouble for obstruction or something like that.
It's an obstruction, but then you're taking pictures with an obstruction. It becomes a felony. It's a class 1 felony.
Wow.
You cannot do it because now it becomes a crime scene, and if you're taking evidence from the crime scene, you're fucked. However, anything beyond that yellow line, you're fine. Now, if they coordinate off further behind you and you don't see it, which they sometimes do for photographers just to catch them and to steal the cards, that's happened. But no, one angry Jew 100% has the right to do whatever the hell he wants as long as he's on a public sidewalk and not endangering anybody by blocking the throughway. Not according to the new ordinance.
If he's in a school zone, they're not allowed to take pictures. That's a new thing.
That's right. I don't know that. I don't know exactly where he was standing, but
he was in the bus line.
I photograph schools all the time. You know what I mean?
Don't do it in Pennsylvania, apparently.
Well, I certainly wouldn't be on the school property. I would be across the street shooting it because I do architecture all the time. I don't do it when kids are there. but he did it when children were there. So, we live in a very weird time where people are going to be saying, why would you be taking pictures of my kids and my
Well, I'm such a photographer. I would. Never mind. I was going to do a whole bit, but I'm not going to.
I want to hear your bit.
I was going to talk about my Polaroid that had the little. Okay, here's the one.
I want one of those.
You know what, Lester? You would be arrested for noise pollution.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be your only crime. Your camera was loud.
Okay, to close the show, I'm going to show y'all something I showed Lester the other day, which is, y'all reminded me of it. There's a bird in the wild that actually it's a like a myna bird, or it's one of those, it's I'm sitting here staring at it. It's a real mean looking ugly bird, but they videotaped it, and it does car alarms, chainsaws. Yeah. Just listen. It's called the lyre bird, Lyre, and it mimics all the birds in the forest. And this is in the BBC. This was not over here. It was over the water over there in the other.
Britain.
Yes, and the bird mimics other noises. Now, this is going to freak you out. He does other noises that he's heard in the forest. Right here, listen.
His attempt to outsing his rivals incorporates other sounds that he hears in the forest. That was a camera shutter. And again.
That was a camera. Now listen
that he's
again.
Imitating.
Listen, Steve. Listen, it's a camera.
And again.
It's insane.
Listen right here.
And now a camera with a motor drive. And that's a car alarm.
Now here comes the most wicked. Did you hear the camera with a motorized?
Yeah.
Now listen to this.
Polaroid.
Listen to this. He's so cute.
And now the sounds of foresters and their chainsaws working nearby.
That is really freaky.
Lester, I want to hear your African Grey do that.
No, don't wake her up.
Yeah.
Is she grounded again tonight or what?
Yeah, she's grounded right now.
That's the funniest story.
She is way grounded. But you know what? They make and that bird I'd never heard of until Debbie brought it up to me. But my bird makes the sound of the door shutting. Wow. She'll make the sound of me pulling my car keys out of my pocket. And if she sees me reaching into my pocket, she makes the noise of my car keys, and she goes, "I'll see you later, buddy."
How do they do that? How do they do that?
It's just amazing. And the only thing I know about the African Grey is, they perch up high in their habitat of like in Africa, wherever, and in order to ward off other animals from preying on them, they will imitate lions and tigers in the area and set up in a tree and do all the roaring of lions and tigers and
scared the shit out of their prey.
Yeah. And they're just, my bird is amazing. My bird has a huge vocabulary, holds on complete conversations.
That's beautiful, man.
Man, cool. I can walk through where her cage is, and if she sees me with a cup of coffee, she'll ask me. She'll say, "You want some coffee?" And I'll say, "Yeah."
Scary.
She'll say, and I always used to say, "Oh, that's good stuff." And so I'll do that, and she'll say, "You want some coffee?" And I'll say, "I sure do." And she'll go, "That is some good stuff." And
it's amazing.
Yeah, and they adopt a lot of the vocal characteristics of the person that they're around the most. Like she's around me a lot.
That's amazing.
And if my dog ever comes to me and starts her little whining thing and wants to go outside, as soon as she hears the dog do the little whine thing, she'll go, "Come on, bear. Come on, bear. Let's go. Let's go, bear. Come on outside. Let's go."
I wonder sometimes if most birds can do that. I had a parakeet that used to bark.
Well, there are parakeets that make noises. Yes.
Swear to God.
There are little parakeets that can actually speak. They may not be as articulate as my bird is.
They kind of go. They just kind of mumble.
Right.
Listen, here's an African gray singing "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
There you go. Listen to this.
You know how he doesn't say the floor? He goes, "Let the bodies hit the body," and then he goes, "Floor."
Yeah. I'll tell you what. If you're on some of those, you'll find some that'll be so articulate, you will have a hard time distinguishing between the bird and a real person.
Here's the most famous African gray.
That would be Einstein.
Einstein,
right?
Yes. Have y'all heard Einstein? Check him out. He's amazing.
Can you tell everyone hi? Hello. That's nice. Can you be polite? Sweetheart. Much better. Well, Einstein is very honored to be here at TED 2006 amongst all you modern day Einsteins. In fact, she's very excited. Yeah. Since we've arrived, there's been a constant buzz about all the exciting speakers here for the conference. This morning, we've heard a lot of whispers about Tom O'Reilly's wrap-up on Saturday. Einstein, did you hear whispers? Yeah.
So, my question is, do they talk on command?
Well, some people train their birds to talk on a reward basis. Like I've never given Bailey a treat. Bailey just communicates. But
if you tried to get her to say something, would she say it?
Sometimes. Sometimes she'll just look at you like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" Turn her head sideways and go, or she has this other saying that, and you got to understand that people that own birds, when they say, when you hear somebody that has a bird that drops the N bomb, for example, that bird learned it from its owner. Don't let any owner ever tell you, "Oh, she must have picked that up on the television, or whatever." They learned it from you.
There you go.
And so I used to say this deal when my bird would talk, and I'd say, "That just sounds ignorant, Bailey." Because I knew she would pick that up, and so I said something one day, and she goes, "That just sounds ignorant." I said, "Okay." And
I want one so bad, and they're so expensive. They start at like $3,000, right?
Really?
What is an umbrella? No, they're cheaper than that. What's an umbrella? Is an umbrella a type of bird?
I don't know.
It says "Baby," the ultimate swearing umbrella. The ultimate.
No, step on my finger. Get on my finger. Get over here. Step up. Step up.
Oh, this bird is cute.
Don't push my finger.
Ow!
Don't push my finger
biting.
away. Don't.
What?
Yeah. See, I got a problem with people that teach their bird to
swear.
Did you hear that?
Wait, what did the bird just say? I could
Sell it to the
hear.
fucking zoo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Cute. Here's the ultimate swearing African gray, Ruby.
Oh, my God.
I'm just pouring a coffee, so don't fly onto that camera. You don't fly up here.
What?
Bonjour. What? Where's your grand café? Wait. Merci.
He even talks like his
I was going to ask that question. Did they pick up the... Could they speak other languages?
Oh, sure.
How the hell do they do that? I just don't understand it.
They pick up whatever language that...
But they must have human vocal cords.
That's what I was going to say. Their vocal cords.
Well, it's the same vocal... It's the same... Whatever causes them to make these noises is the same one that causes them to whistle and to make all kinds of noises, and they're just amazing.
Well, if you ever get a chance to record Bailey doing anything, I would love
to say that.
I actually have some. I will. In fact, I'll move it over. I've got it on a phone, and I've got I don't know, probably in all total 30 minutes of her yelling at me And
I think it would be adorable. I'm fascinated. I've always had birds, but I have little bitty birds. I have little finches and stuff that sit and honk at each other.
You can pick up an African gray from a breeder. You could probably pick one up for $1,000 to $1,500. Yeah, $1,000 maybe. And like I got Bailey when she was like. I told the breeder that I wanted her to wean the bird, which she did not do. But anyway, I got Bailey when she was like 2 months old, tops.
When did they start cussing? When did they start talking?
Well, Bailey actually my bird started talking at 4 months, saying little things, imitating the microwave oven right off the bat.
Wow.
Making... I have a storm door on the house, of course, and I
would think nowadays they would do cell phones a lot, being around.
God,
cell phone noises.
If my phone rings, she'll usually say telephone.
I think that's cute.
And then if I'm on the phone, she'll try to overtalk me, and she'll start pretending that she's in a conversation on the phone.
I heard her one night. She was squealing real loud at Lester.
Yeah.
He got mad at her. He hit the cage. I was like, I knew you did that. He went like, stop it. And I was like,
I give it a little flick on the corner.
That's what I mean. No. Yeah. I didn't mean hit the cage.
Yeah. But yeah, I gave her a little flip and all that.
She was going like this, Steve. She's going in the background real loud.
Yeah. She knows that irritates me, but she can also sit there, and if she sees the phone up to my ear, then she'll go, "Okay, all right, buddy, I can't hear you. What? Yeah, okay, all right, I'll see you later." And it sounds just like me talking.
What a smart bird!
We walked into a casino in Las Vegas, and they had one there that went, "Welcome to the Mirage. Welcome to the Mirage."
Boy, that
you are pretty. I hope you don't lose. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. But they're really fun, and they develop their own personalities. And,
is that a house-trained animal? When it flies around, do you let it fly around? And if so,
no, I don't let her fly around. I keep her wings trimmed.
Sometimes, Steve, they don't even know if you cut their wings when they're little, they'll never know that they could have flown.
Well, and you know my bird doesn't.
They don't miss it. Is what I'm saying. So it's not really a cruel thing. So
no. And I don't trim both wings. I trim one wing, and then when it grows out, I trim the other wing. And only
so if she tried to fly.
Yeah,
it would be in a circle.
She'll go in a circle and crash.
A circle.
It's like a NASCAR bird.
Yeah. Well, not just that. She'll like a plane that's lost its wing, and she'll just circle all the way down. And then, if she ever does that, she'll hit the ground and she'll get up and go.
That hurt like a bitch.
So your bird doesn't swear at all?
No, I don't. Only once has
Lester doesn't swear when I'm in front of him. Beasley car alarm. You're right. I need to do that. I need to make the Beasley car alarm. Wow. I need to do that.
So want a bird.
All right, guys. That's all. It's 2:00, and we are gonna call it. Yeah, and it has been a great week. Thank you to everybody that called in tonight. This was a fun show, and coming off of last night, anything's a fun show.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Last night's show was buried and never to be. I was going to say one thing about it. I saw RD in a chat room today, and I said, RD, said something about, I said, last night's show was pretty intense, too. And he goes, I don't know. I deleted it off my hard drive.
I missed it all. We had a super storm come through Chicago. I had 60-mile-an-hour winds. We lost power. The internet just came up this morning, so I missed everything.
Yeah,
I was trying to log back in, and it wouldn't let me do anything.
I got some pictures from up in Michigan last night or this morning, and they got just a bunch. They said he said they had a bunch of rain, and then they got a bunch of snow again.
Yeah, we missed the snow. We got all the rain, and I'll tell you what, the winds were so hard. I mean, I have a brick house, and I swear to God, I thought my windows were going to pop out.
Wow. That is horrifying.
It was bad. It was really bad. We lost shingles, which we reported to the insurance company, but it was pretty bad, so I'm going to get my roof probably replaced, and definitely the one on the garage, because the garage got damaged. It was horrible. I mean, the wind was like hitting the side of the building, and the house was...
I was on the air. Steve, you weren't here. I was on the air the night that the tornadoes. Do you remember the tornadoes that touched down in Forney, Lester?
I do know about those,
Okay.
yeah.
I was on the air the night that they were doing that, and I swear to God, you can hear, I'm upstairs in my studio, and I had forgot to, I freaked out so bad, and we all ran downstairs. I didn't turn off the show, and you can hear a boom. It goes like, boom, like that, and it was when a tornado touched down in the backyard. It kind of went boom and jumped over our house. They had the reporters.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Heather was actually on Channel 8 that night because it actually hit right by us. But did you get anything off of those storms?
No, I didn't. Not personally.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wasn't close enough. I'm kind of way out in the country, so I wasn't close. But I do know a bit that the town got hit pretty bad.
They were horrible, Steve.
It was. I drove. I drove. The next day, I drove. I drove on up. And I drove like 15 miles, and I was going to go look at all the damage, but by then they had already cordoned off all the streets, and the police were not letting people through because it just absolutely devastated some areas.
By this summer, I'll be in Dallas, so I will be experiencing some of those great storms.
Hey, Steve.
What's up, buddy?
What's your Oscar prediction?
For the movie, I was going to go with 12 Years a Slave.
We're doing that. We're having a pre-Oscar special sometime this upcoming week. So
I'm going
stay
Gravity.
tuned. I don't think I've seen any of them, but we're going to be taking bets and everything. Right?
Yeah.
You may want to get in on that.
I wish I had some money.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you got Monopoly money. You can play with.
Well, I got money. I just, I don't have PayPal.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. It'll be fun.
Say goodnight, Steve. And
good night, guys.
Say good night, Lester.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Slayer and your group, everybody in the chat room tonight. I'm hungry.
It's that time.
I'm
2 o'clock.
starving.
Food
And feed
and
this.
sleep.
Y'all would think I was overweight, but I'm not. It's like
She's not. It's like every 2 o'clock in the morning hits, and there's an alarm
I'm like
goes
a
off.
baby. It's weird.
It's like her feeding time.
Well, some people are just naturally on that clock.
Yeah, she is.
Words of wisdom from Riley, my darling.
Hey, it happens.
These words of wisdom.
All right. I'm going to close out with the song we talked about earlier from Dolly Parton and take it away. I'll see y'all
great.
next time, guys, okay?
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
Lester.
night.
It's time for a real beautiful ballad, and I think this is one of the most beautiful that Miss Dolly has written. I hope you'll enjoy it today. It's one titled, I Will Always Love You. Miss Dolly Parton.
If I should stay, I would only be in your way, so I'll go. But I know I'll think of you each step of the way. Bittersweet memories, that's all I am taking with me. Goodbye, please don't cry. We both know that I'm not what you need. But I will always love you. Will always love you. And I hope life treats you kind. And I just hope that you'll have all that you ever dreamed of. And I wish you joy and happiness. But above